Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
You guys can always actually let's start over since we didn't have any audio. That was my fault. So welcome to episode 50 of the Dirt Life Show. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Tonight we got our featured guest from a company called CryoHeat. They do metal treatments, which is super cool. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that they do. But his name is Josh LaHaye, and Josh is a really good guy, man. He's got a fantastic story, so we can't wait to talk to him and see what kind of stuff he has going with this company. And also, obviously, we want to talk to him about his life too. Like he's just got a really cool party, so it's going to be really cool, or it's a really good story. So it's going to be really good to talk to him. Sorry, I was starting my watch party, so I mixed up the words. So it'll be neat to talk to him. I really enjoy having these stories and these conversations with industry leaders or people like Josh that have started a company when nobody else is doing these types of things. So it's like a really cool story, you know what I mean? So, we were talking before we had the audio issue that we got tacos tonight, dude. That was awesome.
We did. It was good, but they still burn.
You got the hot salsa?
Apparently.
So they got a habanero, a green one, pico de gallo, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
man.
even the beginner one was not beginner.
It was not beginner. It was like novice class.
At least.
So thank you guys very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. You guys are our lifeblood. We can't do this show without you guys. I know we're still a little tiny show, but we really appreciate all the growth and support that you guys have given us. We've seen so much interaction on social media. It's getting more and more difficult for us to answer messages, but it's super cool because it means that we're doing a good job and you guys are doing a good job helping us. So we can't wait to be able to talk to you guys more and keep growing the show. So keep it up and just let us know if you guys think that we could do anything better. Let us know if you guys think anything else would be a little bit cooler to have on the show. I know that we want to talk about more of the I don't want to say local stuff, meaning like local to Tucson, but local things that are happening. Like I know there's a bunch of stuff happening in the Northwest, Southern California, Arizona. There's a bunch of stuff happening in Wisconsin. There's all kinds of stuff. So maybe you guys can give us some suggestions, like myself or Casey, and let us know if you guys have stuff going on in your local area that we can communicate with. We can have you call in. We can talk about all these fun things. So, and just really make it a good interactive show. We really want all that content to be as good of a benefit for you guys as possible. So we want to start doing that as much as we can. We're coming up to our 1-year anniversary. I think it's actually next week. So 51 shows.
Yep.
So that means that we only took one weekend or one day off, which was Christmas. So
nice. So is it 50 or is it 51?
51.
Nice.
So we only missed one Monday, I guess you could say. So we have shows on Fridays too, but
gotcha.
So man, it's pretty cool. And for me to understand to be able to do that after going through all the crap that I did last year, good for me too.
Heck yeah.
So I'm pumped. So, and we couldn't be doing it without everybody that's out there listening to the show. So it's pretty awesome. And we want to obviously thank all of our sponsors too. And if you guys know anybody that wants to get involved, let us know too, because we're going to start doing some promotion and trying to see if we can get some more partners and stuff lined up since we've got a year under our belt. And I showed you some of the stats. They're pretty good, huh?
Yeah, they are pretty impressive.
So I'm pretty stoked, man. I feel like we're all doing a good job, and all the support that we're getting is making it even better for us.
Definitely.
So thank you very much to all the guys that have supported us since day one, like the Justin over at Shock Therapy. You can use the code DIRTLIFE over there. I got my cool Shock Therapy hat. You can buy one of these bad boys and use the code DIRTLIFE on their website and save some money on it. Thank you to Ryan over at KMC Wheels. We got the KMC Wheels over here. I think you got a Shock Therapy shirt over here too, huh? It looks like they already got some oil on it for you. But yeah, these things are super cool with that Shocky logo.
Love it.
That guy's so cool, man.
Yeah, it is.
So, and bright red. We should tell Justin to make him an orange, right?
Perfect.
So that you can have an orange one.
Love it.
So thank you to Ryan over at KMC Wheels. It's really cool that he's been a part of the show as well. We have some awesome stuff that we've been doing with Honda that we've been posting on social media that has KMC involved as well. So we can't wait. Hopefully we'll be able to get, that stuff done sometime this week. We're going to start posting, some teasers or whatever you want to call it on social media.
It looks pretty sweet.
It's really cool.
It makes me want one of those now.
Yeah, a Honda Talon.
Yes.
So they actually look really, really cool.
It looks super cool.
The stuff that they're working on as a group is pretty phenomenal. Like to see, it's one of the things I want to talk about a little bit, but to see, when we talked about it in the past, to see the side-by-side and off-road market growing at such a fast pace and seeing all of these, I don't want to call them newcomers because these are all very, very smart individuals that have been in motorsports for so long coming in to help the side-by-side market grow and to help these vehicles progress. Oh, my gosh, man, it's so cool. So thank you very much to Ryan at KMC Wheels. Like I said, thank you to Travis Zollinger for joining us last week, actually, and having some fun with us. And thank you to Zollinger Racing Products for supporting the show since day one as well. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at ZollingerRacingProducts.com and save a whole bunch of money. I actually had somebody hit me up earlier, needed some radius rods, so we sent them over there. So hopefully they saved some money on their radius rods for their Polaris RZR. Thank you to the guys at Rugged Radios. You can always use the code DIRTLIFE at RuggedRadios.com and save a whole bunch of money on those products. I know that we're going to talk about it. I think you went dirt bike riding or off-road enduro riding, whatever we want to call it.
We did.
And
I did.
I really want all of us, once I get one, I want all of us to have a communication system because it helps. It's really cool.
That would be awesome.
And you know how we, when we grew up being little kids, ride bicycles and you're yelling at each other, right?
Right.
Like, oh, watch me, do this, whatever. So, like, the leader can be like, call out, say, oh, there's danger, or like, dude, click another gear, like, let's go. Like, you got to bust this huge jump.
Totally. Yeah, if we would have had one of those this weekend, that'd been awesome. We were looking for a couple little rabbit trails, stuff that we know's there or those guys knew that was there. And you're trying to talk, but these bikes are so loud, it's impossible.
Exactly.
It's not happening.
And plus, if you're far away, like if the one guy's way up or
even
one
better.
Guy gets held back or something. So it's pretty cool. And so I think we should talk to the guys over there, Steve and Steve at Rugged Radios, and see if we can get ourselves some communication stuff for the dirt bikes. And thank you very much to the guys at Solderweld for always supporting. Lance has just been an awesome dude to have on board. So thank you very much. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com. And get yourself an off-road repair kit because those things are fantastic. They have other stuff too, casual wear and stuff like that, but the off-road repair kit is bar none. Like, it's the only thing that exists out there for our industry, and it is a huge help. So go grab one of those and pick one up. All right, so we got a couple things to talk about, like MX Nationals. Jessy Nelson's going to call us in a little bit, and we're going to talk about what he thinks of I don't know. I kind of want to ask you about Zach Osborne, what you think he's going to do, and also Adam Cincerillo. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more moto. Yeah, exactly.
Two of my guys.
Let's talk a little bit more moto, and let me know how things went on your ride. So you got a 450X that we talked about.
Yep.
And kind of just getting it tuned up, so to speak. You got some gear from Josh Shorter at Thor.
I did. Yep.
And,
thanks, Josh.
So you're kind of just getting back into it.
Yeah, a little bit, slowly but surely. Jeremy Jawa talked to me.
One of our buddies that we grew up with.
Yep, absolutely. He on I don't know what day it was, Friday or whatever. We've been trying to plan to get out, and he goes, "Hey, is anybody else might want to go?" And I'm trying to think. It was kind of late or last minute, right? So we hit up Ray Penske.
Yeah,
and,
one of our buddies that we grew up with.
Yep, absolutely. And he's like, oh, man, I wish you would have told me earlier. I would have prepped the bike. I haven't ridden it in a year. I don't even know if it works, you know. So I told him, well, Jeremy said that me, haven't ridden for 17 years. And and we don't want to get lost, so we need a local. So
we need a trail guide?
Yeah, so we put the pressure on Ray, and next thing you know,
Ray's
he's
probably
like,
shit, these dudes are going to get lost.
Yeah, he's like, oh, boy. So he went and thrashed and changed the oil and put a filter in the bike, and he said it started first kick. So he's like, all right, that's a good start. So yeah, Ray met us out there. And
wait, what bikes so you have your 450X.
Yep.
What did Jeremy have?
Jeremy's on the 300 two-stroke.
Is it the fuel-injected one or the older one? Dude, those things look so cool.
It was – I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I was riding what I was riding, but watching him, I mean, he's a fantastic rider anyways.
Let's say hi to some of these people real
Absolutely.
quick. Hi, Joe Whining. Hey, Leonard Brown. It's good to see you guys. Who else we got up there?
Rory Biter, Old Man River rides again. Yeah, I know, buddy. Can you scroll up a little bit?
That's pretty cool. We're already getting a lot of comments on it today, huh? That's pretty cool, though, that you already got these comments coming in. So you posted on social media, so people were probably pumped, huh?
Yeah, they were like, what? Jeff Angel, what's up, buddy? Rick Forrester, thanks. Yep, we got the sound taken care of, we think.
Yeah, so let us know if you can. If you want us to mute it again because you don't like hearing us talk, then go ahead. We'll go ahead. Yeah, we'll do it.
Corey Clark, what up there at Life? How's it going, buddy? Victor Acuna Jr., how you doing?
Yeah, Vic is awesome. So Vic actually operates we'll call it a machine shop, and he helped build a lot of race car parts, man. So
awesome.
It's super cool to have him. Man, we got a big old comment right there.
It looks like I'm not sure.
You can read it while we talk, but Arizona, like especially southern Arizona down here, well, even northern Arizona, but has some super cool I don't even know what to call it still. Dual sport, enduro, off-road. Like, I don't know what.
All the above, I think.
Yeah. So, anyways, not motocross.
Right.
And it's got such cool trails and stuff. And finally, like, I've only done it a little bit, but I remember telling you, like, dude, you're going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the biggest question. Did you?
Yeah, it was a blast.
Really?
It really was.
And so, what'd you think, though? Because, like, the first time I went out there, I was like, moto dude, like, oh, I gotta jump this, I gotta go faster. But then like I started like scaling back, and I was like, wow, this is so enjoyable.
I think maybe I went into a different mentality just because I've mountain biked and done endurance riding for such a long time now. Like,
well, you haven't gone for 17 years.
Yeah, like that too. But like the itch to race and compete and try to go faster than my buddies, it was like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. But what I did catch myself doing, Jeremy told me to, he's like, hey, you got a little froggy there. Just all the rocks and stuff, trying to, hop over the rocks, wheel tap off some stuff. That was pretty cool. But again, it's been a long time, and man, the bikes are so heavy.
Well, how heavy is the X that you have?
Dude, it must be like, I don't even know. It rides.
What's up, Chris Bender?
That's not true. It rides like it's light until you go slow. And then you're like, is this thing like 800 pounds?
So that's kind of what you and I talked about at some point. Did we talk about it on the show? But we kind of talked about it at some point. Like, all of those bikes are so much bigger, but like once you start getting the motion and you can feel like moving back and forth, sometimes that extra weight gives you a little bit of help because it pushes through rocks better.
It does. I think it's stable, and to go along with that weight though, there's all that horsepower. And again, this is just a choked down version.
17 years ago, it's way less.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
but somebody like Ray or Jeremy myself is used to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely not for me. And it was good. It was like right off the bat, it was like perfect. Like it worked. But if there was one complaint, I'd be like, if there was a way to like have this thing be like 50 pounds lighter, I'd be and maybe less power.
Do you know how much it weighs?
I don't even know.
It's just a big tank.
I think it's like 260 or something.
That's heavy,
or
though.
More.
Well, that's not that heavy though, because the CR 450L that I had was 285.
Was it really?
Yeah, so it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, maybe so.
So it's the air cooled 650 that Scott Summers rode that we were talking about.
Bench press or.
Well, so where did you guys go?
So we went to Reddington, and ultimately we went back to Chiva.
Yeah, so there's a big national park that's out there. Like, it's got so much cool off road riding and stuff like that. But Did you have to go over all those rocks and shit?
Yeah, like the whole time.
Those suck.
It does, but like I said, because I've done all that on mountain bikes lately, it's all just about picking that line. Like it all just looked fine to me. You know what I mean? But it's not. Like when you get up it and look, you're like, what in the heck is that?
Like I wouldn't be stoked on going. I would rather done the different trail.
I said, okay, it's cool. I'm glad we did it, but it definitely would have been cool. It would have been cool to have some more flowy stuff for sure.
Yeah. So there's some cool stuff like down south more. Like if you go towards like where Gunsight Pass is. I don't know if any of our listeners know where this is, but it's in southern Arizona. It's a really, really cool place to go. So anyways, I don't want to get too far off into the weeds like talking about this, but honestly, man, I am so stoked for you.
It was really fun.
And I'm stoked because you're already beating me to the punch. And I like that because now – when I get a bike, I can go with you guys, and you guys can already be ready and just show me all the cool places.
Definitely,
right?
Yep. And huge thanks to Jeremy getting me going and helping me out, and then of course Ray for like
being the trail guide,
showing us the way. Yeah, it was super fun.
That is pretty cool, and it's neat to see him get out there too. I was going to call him this week too, like. He's riding his brother's bike, which is a good memory for him. So cool, I think that's super cool. And when you said it started on the first kick, I was like, yep, that's so cool. And you being out there riding, I think is super cool, man. It's like you say it's 17 years later, but to me, like I never forgot, like you knew how to ride a dirt bike. So it's like, oh wow, 17 years, holy crap!
I know it's funny that it was like a bigger deal to them than it was to me. Like
that's what I'm saying for me. It is.
Not like trying to toot a horn or anything, but like I just was like, oh, this is normal.
I'll just go, yeah.
Yeah, it was like right off the bat, it was normal.
That's super cool, though.
But again, I really feel like all that gnarly mountain bike that Brian and Will and I have done, lately.
All your buddies.
Yeah, I really feel like that helped. If I didn't do anything and it was 17 years of 0 2 wheels, maybe that it would have been.
Would be a little different. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was super fun and good time.
Well, that's cool, man. I can't wait to get out there on the trails with you guys. It'll be cool. And I'm glad that you were able to do it with your buddies, too, because that makes it so much more special.
For sure, no doubt.
All right, so we're talking about all the stuff that's been happening in the industries or the off-road industry. So we got two things that are happening. We're going to talk with Jessy Nelson in a few minutes here about the motocross season starting up again. So that's
Loretta Lynn's, right?
I think that's where it's starting.
I think that's the first one.
So there's a bunch of little things that I wanted to talk about Loretta Lynn. So that'll be super cool. But Vegas to Reno is also coming up. So we're going to talk with some people about Vegas to Reno next week as well. But I wanted to just bring it up because it's such a fun, awesome race that everybody loves so much. And then after Vegas to Reno, we're going to talk with our buddy Wayne Matlock. He's Kristen Matlock's husband, obviously. And hopefully they do good over there. And even if not, they'll still be a good interview. But I want to talk with them and see like how actual gnarly it is compared to Baja. Because there's nothing that compares to Baja, right? Mm-hmm. But it'll be cool because this is a pretty gnarly race, and you go for long ways, and it's point to point. So it'll be neat to talk with those guys about how that is, and it'll be cool to see like because you go from super hot desert up to Reno where it's really nice and cool, and I just think it's going to be such a cool race, and so many people are pumped on it. But there's a small percentage that it may not happen.
Oh no,
I know,
bummer.
So I just want to keep sending good vibes. That's why I want to talk about it. And so we'll just pretend like it's happening.
Okay,
and then,
good.
So that way we can make sure that we like send our positive vibes for it.
Yep.
So I think it would be really, really cool if it does happen and everybody gets to race out there. I talked with a whole bunch of people that are just super amped on it. Craig Scanlon, our buddy, has been testing for it. Dustin Jones has been testing for it out where he lives and
in the mud.
Yeah, and they've been just all getting ready for it. So it'll be neat to be able to see all these guys get back to racing because one race, two races, they all want to race. So it's going to be super cool. All right, so we got Jessy going to call in a little bit. Let's start talking moto. So
I'm pretty excited for it to start up, but it's going to be weird. I think.
Well, I guess it's already weird, though,
this
right?
is true.
What's going to get any weirder? Like, because we just ended the Supercross series with 7 rounds in Salt Lake City
in 3 weeks.
which was that was like there's a lot of good that came from it,
yeah,
right?
it was cool, actually.
But there was also a lot of complaints that came from it too, right?
Right.
But I think for the most part, everybody just wants to get back to racing.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, I think that there's all kinds of stuff. I listened to a couple other interviews and things like that about the motocross season coming up, but some of the things that I thought were really cool were that you can still race a series with less races and adjust it to be able to fit into certain criteria, right? So there's going to be so many people that learn what transitions better in a series or in a business operation. So you're going to get the factory teams that learn this. You're going to get the riders that learn this. You're going to get the series operators that learn this. So I feel like there's going to be tons of positives that come out of it for the next year that they can operate a series in full. Yeah,
and I think the more it goes, like, we'll go back to Supercross where it was like we didn't have anything to watch for a while, right? If that's what you do, if that's what you follow,
like us.
And yeah, right. And then all of a sudden it was all right then. So that stoked the fire, so to speak, for the fans and the enthusiasts. Because
exactly.
I remember driving home from Phoenix Supercross when we were, I don't know, 14 or whatever, and my dad being like, "Don't you idiots go. I know you're all hyped up from watching this tonight. Don't be going down. When we ride tomorrow, don't be stupid," right? And with that said, I feel like that's like what everybody did when they're like, "Sweet, twice a week we get to watch the." So maybe even though there's all this junk going on, it's some sort of somewhat normalcy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just going to continue to, get everybody pumped to go do what they want to do is what I think.
I think so too. And there's so much good stuff that can happen. Like there's so many good riders that got the ability to heal up. There's so many riders that didn't have that much time to start preparing. So like some of the guys that were broken had more time to prepare for outdoors than the guys that just finished Supercross. So there's going to be a weird transitionary period too.
That's that stuff that I think, I'm calling it weird, but it's going to be just, there's no other word to put on it. Like, I don't even know. Like, it's going to be so unexpected. Think of all the different venues.
Yep.
Maybe you've had some, obviously Loretta Lynn's is such a history for the amateur national that's been there forever. So there's data floating around there somewhere, but not at the tippity top level for all those guys.
Do you think that there's going to be, like, since it's Loretta Lynn's, do you think they're going to be, like some of the guys that just moved up from amateurs are going to do better because they just raced that?
Maybe so, because it's like their
stomping ground?
Place. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel, because, like, let's just say a guy like Tomac or Roxon, like, they're not Loretta Lynn's veterans.
No, and they're going to be good regardless. The cream's going to rise to the top, right?
Like but a dude like Cincerillo is going to be, next level, right?
Like, to him, it's going to be like, in my opinion, it's going to be like going back home almost.
Or like Malcolm Stewart's been there a billion times.
Like, totally. So maybe there will be like a home feeling there.
Dude, Justin Bogle shredded at Loretta Lynn's. Not saying he's going to win, but
maybe because this is different, like Supercross was, maybe it's a platform to spring some different people up, from normal.
Dude, it could be.
But we'll see. I'm excited for sure.
I think it'll be super cool. So
good.
A few of the dudes that I was thinking have potential, like we talked about your guys, I really think Cincerillo is going to do good. I don't want him to blow himself out.
I hope so, man. Me too.
Like, I hope he keeps it together.
Me too.
You think he's going to?
I don't know. I sure hope so. It sure seemed like it was a different Adam, Supercross for sure. But then every now and again he had his moments, right?
I just don't want him to get hurt or blow out.
But maybe that's behind him now. I know everyone says that, right? But what I mean is, like, he now has had a full, real Supercross pro. Finally, since he's a little kid, he's dreamed to do it. He finally has that season under his belt.
So maybe now it's
maybe
he can take a deep breath.
Maybe it feels different, right?
I hope so. I think it would be super cool if he does good, man. To have another guy battling up there. So Tomac's obviously going to be the favorite, right? And then you got Roxon, you got Cooper Webb. So it's going to be hot as shit, though. So all these nationals, where they're placed and the time of year, I don't know if Roxon's going to be able to do good.
Yeah, with the stuff he's had going on.
I want him to do good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think I want him to do awesome, but
he's one of those guys that, in my opinion, we've said it before, like, forget brand specific. That's just a guy that's just great for the sport. He's an awesome athlete, such a good story, and he's always positive, upbeat.
And he's fast as shit.
And he's awesome. How can you not?
And then, Cooper Webb's going to do good. I don't think he'll be Tomac good, but he's probably going to be fast.
He may surprise us, but yeah,
I think he will?
I don't know. He may. It was a little different.
Yeah? Okay.
But at the same time, Scrappy Zach, dude.
Oh, Zach Osborne?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He did go. Well, Marvin Muskin's going to come back, too.
This is true. Holy moly. It's super deep.
Do you think Zach Osborne is on a Tomac level, though? I don't know, dude.
No, I think you're right there, but I think he's moto winning capable for sure.
Yeah, probably. But championship winning?
Overall
winning?
Not yet.
Yeah. So not even overall. You're thinking moto wins?
And maybe just because
like a 1-3 for second overall or
yeah,
something?
Exactly. Maybe there's plenty of people thinking that same thing, and that'll fire him up even more.
Dude, probably. So
it's gonna be great. It really is. Just the names we're thinking. We're not even touching barely.
Dude, there's 40 guys on the gate.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And even like I saw videos of Christian Craig. Like,
yeah, there he goes, another one.
I mean, he's getting a little older, but he's honestly really, really talented. Like, he doesn't even look like he's trying, but he's going like Mach 10.
Right.
So he's shredding.
Super smooth.
So I saw some videos of those guys practicing on the test tracks and stuff, like Glen Helen and different places. And
nice.
It looked like they were just ripping. So yeah, I can't wait, man. I think it's going to be super cool for those guys. We got Jessy Nelson.
Well, we know he's got some opinions, and he's always relevant. So I can't wait to hear what he's got to say.
Exactly. So let's see what he's got to say, man. Jessy Nelson, what's going down, buddy?
What's up? What's up?
Can you hear me, dude? Let me see if I don't know if I can actually get, because you called the wrong number, dude. So let me see if I can actually get you going on this. Can you hear us, dude? Hey, dude. No. Call in on the other number, Jess, so that we can get a hold of you and talk about Zach Osborne and what you think of him.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, I really honestly think that it's going to be like madness, because these dudes are going to be going bananas the first round.
I think you're right.
Especially at Loretta Lynn's, and everybody's like healthy.
Yep.
So what if like Adam Cincerillo or Zach Osborne came out full tilt and just blew the doors off all these guys?
Well, time and time again, that's happened over the years, right? Where it's like, they don't all really have their outdoor legs under them yet, and then you have a Baggett who shows up and just starts smoking everybody all of a sudden.
I don't know if he's like up at a level still.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, it could totally be something like that.
It could be.
But
Jessy Nelson, what's up, dude?
How's it going, guys? What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Dude, we were just talking about your all-time homie, Zach Osborne.
Oh, yeah? Am I live on the show right now?
You are.
Oh, right on.
What's going down with you, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I am just working in the garage a little bit, trying to get some stuff put together. And, yeah, just typical Monday.
Right on, dude. Is your program going pretty good with the razors and stuff?
Yeah, everything's been going pretty well. I mean, I'm kind of in between having a race car and right now and not. Trying to get that built as soon as it shows up. Just kind of in limbo right now, but hopefully it'll be delivered soon, and then I'll start working on it.
Nice, dude. Oh, we know you're putting in the work, that's for sure. I was able to come over and spend a little bit of time with you when I was in California, just helping out with getting some springs and stuff installed on your car. So that was pretty fun, man. It was neat to see how much effort you're actually putting into your program and see the passion of it.
I'm trying my hardest. Yeah, it was cool. Thanks for coming over again. Got that shock therapy spring kit put on. First time doing springs on a razor before, so it's cool to see how that all kind of works. Thanks for showing me.
Yeah, no worries, dude. It was actually quite a bit easier than what we expected, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. I need to get a spring compressor now, and then we'll be dialed.
Dude, I'll give you the Amazon link. Perfect. Did you ever get to test them out yet, or are you still working on all that stuff?
No, I still got that crossover adjuster. And then I'll be good to go.
Yeah, finish setting them up. Okay. Well, we were talking.
Yeah, also putting HCR kit on, so I've just got to get all that stuff pressed in, the bearings and all that.
Dude, that's going to be so cool. Do you know what that is, Casey? He's talking about HCR is a brand manufacturer of long travel kits for the RZRs and for YXZs and stuff like that. Those things are super cool, man. Like, make the car handle so good.
Nice.
So
I bet.
It'll be cool for Jessy to be able to try it. You're not allowed to use those in the work series, though, are you?
No, it's kind of on my play car. The car I do like a lot of filming stuff on. But if I were to go and do maybe like a little desert race or something like that here or there, it's legal for that.
Oh, cool. Like, are you going to do the UTV World Championships this year?
I'm hoping to, whether I do the rally class or even just the poker run. I'm kind of like in limbo. Like I said, I'm kind of waiting on my race car to get here. So, I mean, I want to. My plan was to do a short course, but if I don't have a car to race, then I don't really have an option.
Dude, that'd be so cool if you go to. I want to definitely go to the UTV World Championship, and one of our homies, Craig Scanlon, said that I could use his RS1 too. That might be kind of fun.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah, I'm for sure going. I just don't know what I'm racing, or if I'm racing, or just doing the poker run, or what. But I'll be there.
Dude, you could be the fastest guy in the poker run.
Oh, we win something.
Yeah, I think the poker run, they only allow you to go 35 miles an hour. But like I was cruising, and R.J. Anderson and Mitch Guthrie blew by me going like 100.
Did they get Dairy Queen?
Damn.
I don't know. What does that mean?
DQ?
Oh, yeah.
Disqualified?
No, they just were shredding, dude. But those things are fun. The poker run, like, gives you a chance to look at the course, and since it's in Lake Havasu, it's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
So it'll be new for everybody.
Right.
So
should be super good for the town.
Actually, that would be super good for Jessy and me, because that means nobody else knows the track.
Nice.
So, like, it's all brand new for all of us.
Perfect.
Dude, we got to get up there and shred, dude.
Yeah, I just need to get my cars put back together and my RZR's ready to go, and I'll be on my way.
Dude, if I drive Craig's, I'm probably going to be driving a bone stock. It might even have stock tires on it.
Craig doesn't leave anything stock. Come on.
I saw it sitting in his garage when we went on a bike ride. It looked pretty stock, man. So we'll have to see.
Give it a couple days.
Yeah, just ask him to say, hey, hook me up a little bit, and it'll just come out like Exhibit just like took over it and made it one of the baddest cars on the planet.
Yo, ride, baby.
Hey, so we were talking motocross earlier and like how it's going to be different doing the series and stuff, and I want to get your expert opinion. Like, if you were going into the season, like how would you approach it? Like, what are all these dudes doing?
I mean, a lot of guys are transitioning back to the East Coast because a lot of the races will be there. I'd have to look at the schedule again, but I think first round's Loretta's, second round's Florida. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I think it's going to be a relatively easier summer for them. I mean, they finished out the Supercross series. I mean, that was a little bit tough for them, I think, just being so close with it. They've had quite a long break to recover and kind of get their bearings straight again. So for them to go into this season with that much time off, I think they're going to be fine. And having it only be a 9-round series helps a lot too.
And less traveling because they only have to travel 8 times, right? Because the Red Bud is 2 rounds.
Yeah, that one, I think that might be, I don't know how it's going to be. I mean, a race day when you're doing 230s or 35s or whatever it is, I mean, most of those guys are doing 40s and 37s minute motos all during the week, but nothing can compare to the race day.
Yeah.
It's way rough. It's so much rougher. It's, mentally draining. You have 2 practices that you're trying to get good times for and qualifying and figure the track out. It's mentally exhausting. And then to race with it too, like, I don't know, like it's a lot different when you go to start a moto practicing at your local track. It's not near as rough no matter where you go.
Yep.
It's just not going to be like in racing, and you'd be surprised. Like it takes a few laps for us to get our heart rates up. The racers do. And when you're at a race, just being on the starting line, your heart rate's already at where you're normally at three laps into a moto. You know what I mean? Just the adrenaline and the excitement and the nerves and everything just start building up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It'll be cool to see it, though, and especially like Casey and I were talking about it, too. Like, none of those dudes well, some of them have lined up at Loretta Lynn's in the past couple years, like for the 450 class at least. But dude, a lot of those guys like spent a boatload of time at that track.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed. A lot of the guys that spent a good amount of time there, it's changed over the years. But I mean, you always have that same feeling. Like it's just like if you're going to a stadium that you're familiar with, even though every year the track's different, you're still familiar with it, and you like feel comfortable with it.
Right. You know where the good burritos are.
Yep.
I think they're going to need to do quite a bit of track work for having a national there. It's just pretty tight. I mean, they'll be doing. I'm going to guess they're going to do like 20 something laps probably, because the track isn't very big.
Well, yeah, and plus I feel like it's skinny.
Yeah, it's very narrow. They're gonna have to widen it up. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be cool. I mean, it's never been done. That's what the coolest part to me is.
Yeah, agreed.
That they're actually trying something and they're going out there and doing it.
Yeah, I think that's super, super cool. And I mean, who knows what the track crew is going to do and make it wider and do some different stuff. It'll probably actually be super cool for the amateur national too, because it'll be a different track for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how much it changes, but I think it's going to be, who knows, if it goes well, this could be, a reoccurring thing. Even next year it could be the Loretta National, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty cool though.
It would, for sure.
Plus, that place is just fun because you get to go down the streams and all that stuff.
Jump off the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jesse spent a good amount of time down there. You've been down there a billion times, haven't you?
And just the fact that the AMA or the MX Sports is having a Tennessee round as the opener for the series is crazy. It's always in California, or I don't know the last time it was somewhere else.
No kidding.
Like that.
That's a good point, right?
It is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like when they put a round in Florida, everybody's all pumped, like, because you get back like Gatorback style and all that. Like, it's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, it almost seems like it legitimizes a different part of the country all of a sudden.
Dude, there's probably going to be so many more fans there then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know what fans can do it, but if next year, if they have like open fans, that's going to be sweet, man. People in Tennessee are into moto too.
Anything with a motor. If it's a lawnmower or a dirt bike, doesn't matter. They're racing it.
Perfect.
So, who do you got as your main pick, and then who do you got as your sleeper?
Honestly, I'm kind of open to it because it's going to be different. Because guys were racing East Coast, some guys were racing West, and then there's this big gap. There's guys coming off of being injured. There's guys coming fresh out of the gate. It's going to be hard to really guess where anybody's at. But I mean, there's always those favorites. I think Ferrandis is going to be the guy to beat.
In the 250 class, yeah.
Absolutely. Ferrandis for sure.
Mm-hmm. Solid.
I think Jeremy Martin's going to do good. I feel like Jeremy Martin's shredding.
Yeah, he does for sure. But I think, I don't know, the time that he's been off too, and then Dylan's got, back-to-back Supercross championships. He's feeling good. Like, I don't know. He's just strong. Yeah. And he's on a really good bike, and he's got a solid program. And
yeah, he really does.
That's going to be tough to beat.
We should probably just throw it out there and just say Derek Drake's going to take the whole thing. I think he's going to do good. I think Derek. Derek shreds though.
I think Derek's going to come out of his shell for sure, and you're going to see a different side of him racing.
I think that's going to be super cool, man. It seems like he really is coming out of his shell now, man. There was a few rides at the last round. He was ripping, dude. Or at the last section of rounds, he was shredding.
Absolutely. Pierce Brown's going to be good. There you got the Husky guys too as well. Carson Mumford's coming out of the amateur scene too. He's making his debut. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you want to know something awesome that has nothing to do with motocross? We got a comment that's about a herpes ad, so everybody's talking about us getting hacked by a herpes ad on Facebook. So we're going to have to just – at least it wasn't like hemorrhoids or something, right?
I know, but can't we, get it out of there?
I tried to delete it. It
you
won't
did?
delete.
Oh, man.
So there's no delete button. But
how does that make you feel, Jess?
Maybe our Facebook's got herpes now. So, just avoid that and start commenting in, guys. You're not going to get it from the computer, so you're good. So what about 450s? Do you think that it's just going to be like your standard guys, like the Tomac, Roxon, Cooper Webb show, or do you think there's some other guys that can go in there like Zach Osborne?
I think Osborne will do well. I don't know how well he'll do for the entire series. Hopefully Ken's got some of his illness figured out. Ken's always going to be strong.
Right.
Tomac, of course, and he's won it the last 3 years.
Right.
I'm excited to see Moose Can get back too as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty cool too. I was thinking there's a bunch of guys
to see Moose Can get back and see how he does.
There's so many dudes that I feel like can win in the 450 class. Like probably at least 5. Like,
yeah,
absolutely
crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Casey,
and I'm excited to see Sexton on a 450 as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. I was hoping I wasn't out of line, but I could have swore that this was it. Right? This is his debut.
you think he's going to rip that hard to be like top 5 guy?
I don't know. I think he's gonna impress everybody. I really do.
I don't. Do you have any insight on that, Jess? Because that seems like pretty ambitious to be top 5, like right out the gate.
I think that's pretty respectable. I mean, I think outdoors he's kind of struggled. I don't know. I honestly don't really know his results as far as on the lights class, but I remember last year he missed a few rounds because he overexerted himself.
Yeah,
that's right.
At one of the rounds, it's going to be tough, but the 450 class in outdoors is a lot different too than Supercross. Like, it's not the pace. I wouldn't say the pace, or maybe it's just the way that some of the riders ride or they race. I don't know if it's just the different discipline, but if you always notice outdoors, there's those main 5 guys, and then it drops off really hard.
Yeah,
so
that's
for
true.
him to be in the top 5, I don't think that's that big of. I don't think it's that far-fetched. I think him being in the top 3 might be a little harder.
Yeah,
but
different
if he's got
story.
a top 5 goal, then I think it's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a pretty good goal.
Agreed.
And I feel like Zach Osborne's going to probably do pretty good too.
I think he's got
just because he's fired up.
He's got a motor or 2 in him for sure, I think.
And Casey's a number 9 fan, so he really wants Cianciarulo to do well.
Just stay on the bike.
Me too. AC's going to do great too. I mean, there's so many people. I need a list in front of me to be able to.
I know.
Tell you everyone that I'm kind of thinking of.
I feel like we're missing like 10 others. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, for sure.
Course.
It's crazy.
Baggett's going to be good.
Yeah, right.
Benny Bloss is going to be good.
Yep.
There's a lot of different guys out there they're going to be strong. But you always kind of lean towards those favorites, like naturally.
Right.
Dude, yeah, I can't wait to see it start getting kicked off, man. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And we were talking about it before, too. I mean, everybody likes the way that things are structured and the way that things work and keeping it the same as it was the year before. But honestly, I'm pumped that it's different. Like, I liked how they did, how they fixed Salt Lake. Yeah, and I think it's going to be super cool to have all these changes. I think 2021 – everybody's going to have such a fresh mindset on how they can redo things and make it better.
Yeah, moving forward, even when you fall into your, we'll call it routine
structure,
people are going to think, the people that lived through this and still were successful, that's changing 100% every thought process that they have.
Yeah, exactly. And giving people more time to work on themselves, too.
Yep.
So that's,
I think a good thing for MX Sports to consider, too, is maybe not do 12 rounds every year. I think that's a little bit better, especially how far across the United States everyone has to travel. And I think
yeah, so Jesse was saying that, like, doing 7 rounds instead of 12. Yeah, I think that, like, all those are good ideas.
Yep.
Like, they'd be super cool.
Yep.
We already went past our time. All right, well, hey, we'll let you get back to working on the razors and having some fun over there. Please tell everybody that we said hi. And get back to me on getting that dog adopted from Emily.
Will do, man. Appreciate it.
All right, homie. Well, thank you very much for calling in. We really appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, guys. See ya.
Later. He had some pretty good insight.
He always does. I love it. Like, I almost am like, dang it, how did I not
think
see
about that? Yeah,
that angle to it. I mean, he's lived it and breathed it his whole life.
Well,
so
we never got. I broke my back in my first national, and we never got to race nationals. And
right.
he's lived it like at the top,
at the tippity top. Yep. So cool to hear what he has to say. Absolutely. Did you see what Jeff said?
Wrong dirty life. Yeah. So I don't know how these things work, like Facebook and YouTube and stuff, and people can just comment in whatever they want. Who knows if that was like an actual person or it was like a computer
I think
program?
they're bots, and they're targeting a certain amount of people.
They're targeting the off-road side-by-side industry?
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually somewhat of a compliment, I think.
Yeah, thanks. Woo! We appreciate you guys coming in there and doing that. So we got the comment deleted, though. I figured it out, man. We're technology geniuses over here. So, well, thank you very much, Jeff, for letting us know, too. So it's already 6:50. We're about 5 minutes late on giving our buddy Josh LaHaye a call. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch, you can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we are back. Man, that was a good break. I smelled some of those tacos that we had earlier. So we want to welcome our featured guest, the owner of CryoHeat Metal Treatments. Josh has been doing a lot of stuff with a bunch of good racers, teams, factory-level teams, and just making all of these new cars side-by-sides. We're talking about growing industry better, and we always want people to know more and more about all these people in the industry. So we'd like to welcome Josh LaHaye to the show. How's it going, Josh?
Good. Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we really appreciate you spending some time with us, man. We know you're a busy dude, and work has just been crazy, so it's good to be able to sit down and talk with you. It looks like you're comfy tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Sitting here in our showroom on the couch, and I have to admit, I was working till about 15 minutes ago.
That's good, though, man.
Yeah, the grind.
Yeah, Casey and I always talk about this, too. Like, it's weird because these times, like, there's been a lot of people complaining, hey, I don't have a job and I don't have to do all this stuff. But there's, like, the other end of the spectrum where, like, dudes like you, Casey, myself, like, there's not enough time in the day. Like, we just can't ever fit it all in. So it's really, really actually good to hear that stuff. And I know that the stuff that you guys are doing at CryoHeat is fantastic. So seeing that business keep growing and succeeding is rad, man.
Thank you very much.
That's a sweet backdrop. Can I be the first cheesy one to say?
It really is.
Nice crank.
I recently had it stuffed, or should I say, I had it polished.
There you go.
He had it shined up. So, so for anybody that doesn't know Josh, like I said, Josh operates a company called CryoHeat, and what they do is they do. Well, what's the technical term? Is it metal treatments or metal finishes?
We're the actual name of the company is CryoHeat Metal Treatment.
Got it.
A lot of people in motorsports don't really know that. We just nicknamed it CryoHeat. But yeah, we have about 300 different proprietary processes in cryogenic stress relieving. We do micro polishing and deburring. One of our newer items is micro shot peening, which is also vapor blasting.
Yep.
So on the manufacturer end of things and like deburring parts, we're using micro shot peening. But in motorsports, it's just slang term. It'd be vapor blasting or vapor honing. We got a new laser machine, so we're able to do laser etching, burning, all kinds of stuff like that now. And it's really cool. Like on the back end of things, that people who know who CryoHeat is, they see us as a motorsports business.
Yeah.
And they don't know that we do a lot of stuff for like the big manufacturers, and some of it is nothing to do with motorsports. It could be defense contracting or something like that. And we needed to implement that one more tool, and so now we're like laser etching everything that we possibly can, including the stuff that we make for the UTV industry.
Yeah, it's super cool. One of the things that I always thought was so cool is let me backtrack a little bit here, but my end point is like polishing the inside of a gun barrel kind of thing.
Right.
Like, yeah. So the stuff that Josh does, like if you have, let's just say transmission parts, right? So Josh does a lot of stuff for Polaris transmissions and different things. I always wanted him to build a YXZ transmission for us because the tolerances are so tight in those things, but they're made to fail in certain instances. So they have the metal is really pliable, right?
Right.
I mean, and when I say that, I mean that in a vague term.
Yeah, certain things are supposed to wear and certain things aren't.
Exactly. So the tolerances are so tight, though, there's a lot of drag in the system. So when you go through, and Josh's process is he can deburr all the metal, and he'll tell us more about it, but you can put the metal at different temperatures, and you can polish it, and it frees up all of the operating process, and so it really moves freely. And it's not like just going and saying, I want a bigger motor. It's saying, I want a freer car.
Right.
and that creates a lot of horsepower.
Sure.
And so people
unlocking free horsepower.
Exactly.
Really. Yeah.
Exactly. So when people think about all these treatments and stuff like that, they shouldn't think about it as polishing your ring. You know what I mean? And making it look shiny. They should think about it as making the car work better and go faster, because it has a huge impact and it increases durability too.
Yep.
So it's super cool. Let's talk about that a little bit, Josh, before we get into your story, because honestly, man, it is awesome, the stuff that you guys do.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
So what are some of the things that you guys do, like with the, let's use a Polaris transmission for an example, because a lot of our users or audience members are Polaris guys too.
First off, I have to say, we will circle back with this conversation again, because I would love to give you a shop tour. Unfortunately, we have some machines that are running and those parts can't be seen. The doors have been locked during business hours. And I was like, oh man, why did that project have to show up today? I would love to be able to walk around and be like, sorry, it's really loud right now, but be able to show you some machines even when they're running. And that would be cool. Maybe we could do like a pre-daytime recording and give you guys like 5 minutes of what it's like to be at CryoHeat when machines are running and technicians are here doing our thing.
Well, we would love to come out there and hang out. So next time I'm in Southern California, we'll give you a call and we'll go get some tacos first. We'll get
come to the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We'll get some tacos at actually, you know what? I just went to that place, LTF, with my buddy and had some breakfast on the coast there. That place was good.
Awesome.
So we'll go get some breakfast and then we'll go and we'll do a shop tour. I think that'll be fun. But maybe you could give us a little bit of like a step-by-step through process of those Polaris transmissions, because honestly,
yeah, for sure. So
they're a piece of art at the end.
Yeah. So thank you. There's really two different ways that we're getting transmissions, and from the end user, the person who owns the transmission, and we're working on our third step, which I'll get back to in a minute. But so somebody will either have the transmission disassembled and they'll bring it to us completely disassembled, or they'll ship it to us or walk it into the door, or they'll ship us, please drain the oil, but then they'll ship us the transmission, and we will do, I think we probably do more steps than anybody else in the UTV industry. Our go-to, what we do for every customer, is our teardown includes, if it's really dirty, the whole transmission goes into our parts washer at 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and it gets cleaned. Then obviously we're finding, any type of damage or whatever, it's photographed. We open up the transmission, then we find more damage, or maybe none at all. It could be even a brand new transmission that somebody wants to have race ready. And then we'll open up that transmission, visual inspection. Knock on wood, everything is good with that visual inspection. After everything has been, processed through the parts washer and it's totally clean, then it goes into our Magniflex room. And again, this is every transmission we do. We Magniflex the entire transmission, so the shaft, the gears, and the sprockets for the naturally aspirated Polaris transmissions. Everything is Magniflex. We're looking for those microscopic fractures that you do not find with the naked eye.
So do you know what Magniflex is, Casey?
We do.
Yeah, so for some of our audience that doesn't know what that is, Magniflex is basically testing for structural integrity. So you look at a gear or a piece of metal, whatever it is, and you can find any blemishes in it. You can find cracks and things like that. And so he goes through the whole process. And obviously, if there's something wrong with it, you throw it out and you get a new one. And so when it gets put back together, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's cool. The technology today is the technician would circle it with a Sharpie, and you can take a photograph when it's dark, and you can see all the green dye on it, and you can see where a stress fracture is at. And then you take it, and then you turn on the lights, and you turn off the mag light, and you just have regular natural light like what's in my room, and you can see that there's nothing there. And so we'll present that in an email to the customer, and they go, "Oh wow, thank you so much." And we just so happen to have pretty much every single transmission part in stock, especially for the Polarises. We have quite a few for the Can-Ams and someday all the other models as well. But once we've gone through that, making sure the parts are in good shape, then the next step would be going into CryoHeat processing, where we're going to change the entire molecular structure, which is crystalline, and we're going to bring that individual part from room temperature, say 70, 75 degrees, down to minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit, hold it there for 24 hours. Proprietary processes getting there, 24-hour hold, proprietary processes coming back to room temperature, and then going into post-temp temperatures. And not all parts are equal, not all material is equal. So with that being said, there is about 300 different processes that I have converted and made for different types of material. Or it could be the same material, however, that material might be used for a different service. So it might need a pre-temp heat, it might need 2 or 3 post-temp heats, or it needs a cryogenic process that's totally different than the usual.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, he's explained to me some of this stuff. He just did a really good job explaining it to us. But basically what it is it's taking, like he said, the molecular structure of the metal, but he's cooling it and then heating it and changing the temperature of it. And he's going to talk about the micro polishing. But all of this stuff, like, I mean, you've seen it before. It changes the whole metal game.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
It's pretty cool. I was even thinking, like, for the RC car industry, how sweet it would be, because those things are so low power, they would just change everything. But
yeah, so under a glass, what's happening is the lattisphere, which is the outside surface of the metal, even on a machine, like, let's say the best company in the world who would grind a cam, let's just say Cryo Cams, they're an awesome company, right? Even with our CryoHeat process, underneath the glass, if you can see my fingertips, you know, times 150, you're going to see the lattisphere standing up like this. So we're actually quenching the outside surface, which we call the lattisphere, and it will actually lay down tighter and smoother. We're talking like micron. We're talking tens of thousandths of an inch, which in motorsports is kind of like a throwaway number.
it still makes a huge difference, though.
It makes a huge difference with friction resistance. When you get the oil dirty, those microscopic particles in the oil will collect on those, and they will cause these fractures that are standing upright that are basically hot spots.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about, like, in just a transmission case like we're talking about now, there's 100 pieces in a transmission, so there, or whatever.
Yeah,
so it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and so these hot spots become hotter spots, and they become more drag. And just the CryoHeat process alone is going to allow these parts to move more freely. And then you get into the scientific part of our CryoHeat process of what's happening to the molecular structure. And we're realigning the grain structure of that material microscopically, but doing it so well in an 80-hour-long process. It's such a long duration that we're allowing the molecular structure to basically become more into a relaxed state.
Yeah.
And as we bring it back to room temperature, it's now a more organized material, which we gain crazy amount of strength through. Rockwell hardness is virtually the same.
That is so cool.
I can forge Rockwell hardness a tiny bit, but it's nothing to really brag about unless you're talking about like valve springs. But with gears and transmission and crankshafts and all that other stuff, it's the stress relieving that is going to help us gain that dimensional stability and that shear strength toughness that we all need. And then the friction resistance goes way up. I mean, we could sit here and talk science for like 3 hours.
I know.
I'm just trying to give you like the major bubble of motorsports. Another thing is, when a metal part is formed, whether it's from billet or cast or forged, cold casting. It doesn't matter. There's going to be austenite left over in that material.
Yep.
And what I try to explain to people is austenite is literally the popcorn of steel. It's very brittle. It has no place of being there. But what we've seen underneath the glass times 500, times 650, 700, we've seen austenite turn into a martensitic carbon. And martensitic carbons are very strong, and they work as a self-lubricating carbon. So when you have two martensitic carbons like your teeth rubbing into each other, now all of a sudden the wear resistance goes up by like 200, 300, even 400% with D2 tool steel.
It's like getting a new roommate, but the new roommate is way cooler than the old roommate.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, so we just got a comment saying it's like NASA shit, right? But it really is. And honestly, like,
it is.
What Josh is saying right now, like, honestly, Casey, I know he's like eating it up, and I'm eating it up too. I could really talk about this technical stuff for, like you said, Josh, days on end. But I think for letting our audience know, it really, honestly, the main things that it does is it ends up being, it creates more horsepower because it's less friction, and it increases durability because it's so strong and the molecular structure changes. So it's super, super cool. And you do a lot of stuff for play cars. You do a lot of stuff for high horsepower cars. You do a lot of stuff for racing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, in the UTV world, I think that it's been a phenomenon where a lot of people, like so many people are on Facebook or Instagram, and they see these racers and they see the success that these racers have. And every once in a while, the racer will say, you know, CryoHeat treated transmission. And so on a weekly, I have people who have no idea what we're about, and they're asking the question, what all do you guys do?
Right.
And once I go through my 5-10 minute spiel with them, they're like, where's your website? And it's like, man, we don't have a whole lot of stuff on our website right now, but I promise you we're working on it.
Yeah, but how can you explain that to somebody, though? It's like, it's really difficult to be able to sell something like that. But I definitely was one of those guys. I remember late 2016, I had a call with you saying, you know, like, what kind of stuff do you guys do? Because Dustin Nelson, a competitor of mine and a friend of yours, told me, he goes, yeah, you know, I get my axles and my CVs and all the ball bearings and stuff cryo heated. And I think he did it in his SR1, which was legal at the time. And unfortunately, in the Production 1000 class, we couldn't do that. But I was trying to figure out what this new technology in my mind was. And I couldn't, like, from that day, I couldn't get enough research how cool, like, it was, the stuff that you were doing.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's so I'm a metallurgist. I went to Oklahoma State. My professor did not believe in cryogenic processing. A lot of the world doesn't believe it until you actually have a chance to either, like, the cool thing about the UTV world is we're all connected through Facebook. So if someone's going to call my BS, they're going to call it immediately.
Right.
And no one's done it. I mean, we've had it. We've grown into our own building. We started off renting 100 square feet from Kenny Osborne, who owned Black Rhino Performance, and now we're in 3,000 square feet, and I have all of my machines here, and I have employees, and it's working. I put food on the table once in a while.
that's a perfect transition into getting into your life story. Yeah. So the main thing that we want to do with this show, and Casey knows, and we always tell everybody, but we really want to understand the people that are in the industry, right? Like, you see people at the track, or you see people at events and things like that, and you're like, oh, I know Josh because he posted a picture of a gear on social media. But no, you really don't. Like, Josh has got a fantastic story. I've spoken with Josh a million times, and it's really cool to see the stuff that he's doing now, but leading up to it was even more special, right? So that's the stuff that we really wanted to start the Dirt Life for. And I enjoyed talking to you about your story because there was a lot of trials and tribulations, but they were good because they taught you so much, and they taught you how to, get into the stuff that you're doing now. So maybe you could kind of start at the beginning and let us know, where you grew up and how you got into motorsports. And, obviously you'd like surfing and stuff because you live by the beach.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, my background is growing up in East County of San Diego. which when I was, let's see, I graduated Valhalla High School, a class of 93. So now you can figure out my age group. But growing up in East County, we were pretty much the capital of the motorhome capital of the world. Everybody went to the desert. Everybody rode dirt bikes. They raced dirt bikes, and that's all we did: live and breathe on dirt bikes.
Everybody looked up to Ricky Johnson.
I rode with Ricky Johnson. I rode with Brock Glover. I rode with Ron Lachine. I mean, the list goes on.
So
and,
cool.
And, and I was, all those guys are like 12 to 15 years older than me, but it's like mad respect. It was the coolest thing ever going to a short course, Lucas Oil short course race. And I come over to Ricky, tap him on the shoulder, and he looks back at me and he goes, "Josh LaHaye?"
Yep.
I haven't seen him in 15 years, and it was such a rad thing. We had a great 10-minute conversation, and then he had to run off and do his next race. And it was just like, this is cool. So, yeah, I grew up.
That's a good
East
story.
County.
That's a really good story of the dirt life, though, because that really encompasses all of that. Because they grew up in the dirt racing together, and then all of a sudden it's, whatever, like you said, many, many years later, and it's still the same thing. It's that camaraderie and stuff. I mean, like, I love those stories. So,
my story and part of your story are similar, and you know how you know this connection. But growing up racing motocross, a lot of broken bones, a lot of head injuries. Parents were a little bit all right with it, but it was, it took a toll on my body. It really did. And it's to the point where I'm 46 and I have a lot of problems with my body, but I cope with it every day.
Yeah, so it took a toll on our bodies, but it also took a toll on our all of our parents' hair got a little bit whiter earlier.
So
right?
No doubt.
Our entire family. Like how many times aunts and uncles and grandparents at the hospital, you know what I mean? It's like,
what the heck are you doing, Josh? Why are
you?
you doing this again?
Yep.
So, that was like growing up riding dirt bikes. That was like the very first thing that you do when you come home from school. You jump on your dirt bike, you illegally ride 2 miles on the asphalt, and you get out to the hills and you go ride.
Yep.
And it all stopped. My senior year in high school, I was out stretching the legs, wanting to race the Baja 1000, and I had the bike to do it. I had backing to do it, and I was testing some new setups, and I went through a silt bed probably at 90 something miles an hour on a bike, and silt bed, lean back, put your knees into the airbox, make sure they touch, and don't let go, wide open throttle. And that bike ejected me so hard. The lady that saw me said that I was 12 feet in the air, cartwheeling in the air without my bike. I was about 100 yards away from my bike when all the dust settled. And I broke C5, 6, and 7. C6 imploded into the spinal cord and basically left me a quadriplegic. And that's why I always have to drink water when I talk, because the surgery just ruined my vocal cords.
Yeah, but man, I mean, just hearing that story gives me chills, and I know Casey can feel it too, because it's insane to think about that. Like, it's nice to see you sitting there, and you obviously have a successful business. You're walking around and stuff now, but knowing the next thing that comes after you laying on the ground is just so terrifying.
I had that feeling of I'm coming to, I see the clouds, and I feel my body standing up, and I'm not moving. And that was where it's like the panic button, the OSHIT button. Hit it.
Yeah, man.
And I was life flatted back to San Diego. And
were they able to get to you pretty quickly?
What's that?
Were they able to get to you pretty quickly, or did you lay there for a while?
I was there for a few hours, and
that's
so
scary,
this lady that saw the accident, who actually had her husband report it, she was a nurse.
Wow!
Thank God.
And yeah, there's probably a good chance she's one of the reasons why I'm still alive, because I had so much bone fragmentation in my spine. The rangers that were there to help me first on site, they wanted to pick me up and this and that, and she's like, nope. Don't. He needs a helicopter. so they helicoptered me to San Diego, and there I had this crazy surgery, and it was like a 9-month recovery. It's George, you know what I'm talking about. It's like 9 months later, I'm strong enough to take an empty glass jar and put it in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And this is where you're just like, dude, I have to come back.
So
I have to figure this out.
Talking about some of this, and to get a little bit, not to get too heavy on it, but like Casey's gone through some stuff too, but both you and I, Josh, know that when you break a bone, you usually wait 6 weeks and you're good to go, right? But when you do more damage to your body, you have to really work. You really have to work to be able to do simple things in life. But one of the things that I love most about Josh is that he understands that not everything comes easy, right? That you have to go through these processes to be able to treat metal. You have to go through a process to be able to treat your body. And that time and that patience, when you have to go through something and you can't do anything but learn it by force, and it has to be something that's ingrained in you, it's a phenomenal trait to have for the rest of your life.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, anyways, about 2 years later, I was strong enough-ish to be back on the bike, riding on my home private track, and, the times were not there. And it finally came to my senses of why sacrifice my life and my younger years of training on knowing that I'm never going to get to that point.
Yeah.
And the point is, you want to be a pro. You want to be able to at least have some type of success doing this thing that you love so much. I was strong enough to be able to ride the bike, and I rode it competitively a little bit just for fun. It's like when I turned 40, it's like FedEx. No way, I could race FedEx. But it left me. I had more complications with my body because of so many different injuries. I did race jet skis for a number of years. I turned pro. Had a great time doing that. Unfortunately, the IJSBA kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
And jet ski racing, poof, up in smoke. And it's crazy. Like 90% of America doesn't even know that there is jet ski racing.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the dudes that did the jet ski racing.
Yeah.
We have
except for us that actually did it.
We had some friends that actually did it as well. Like one of our buddies was a mechanic for Dustin, whatever the champion was. But anyways, to get back to what
Farthing?
Dustin Farthing, and what was the
couple of lady world
exactly.
champions that he wrenched for too.
But they're the water life, so
But
the
water life.
I wanted to make a quick comment really quick though, is so what Josh was just saying about wanting to win at a high level and understanding that may not happen again for him, but still wanting that when you're left with an injury and a significant change in your life like that, where you understand these things, the drive and the focus doesn't leave you. Like, it doesn't go away, but you're limited by, let's just say, in his case, his performance. He said, I can't go as fast on a dirt bike, and why am I going to put myself in a position to do that? So now he's thinking, all I have to do is take all this energy and focus that I have and put it somewhere else.
Different subject.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, because that stuff never leaves.
Nope, it doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. Raced jet skis for a while. I just fell apart, and I just kind of looked at it going, I had a chance to make some money. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but I just watched it crumble, and it's like, not going to have a career in that. So let's rethink this. And jumping in and out of got to have the need for speed, got to make a living on handlebars and with an engine between my legs, and then going to let's have a real job, and not a real job, but like a career move, or like let's work in aerospace or manufacturing, or even dabbled in construction for a little bit, and it's like I wasn't finding myself. And I realized I didn't find myself because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, ultimately. Like, I'm not a cubicle type of person.
Well, let me ask you this. So,
it's-
say, even though you're not a cubicle type of person, it's pretty clear for us to see and for our audience to hear. You're very smart. So, did you say, okay, well, now I'm not going to do these two-wheel things anymore. I need to go get educated. I need to use my brain more. Like, what was the decision-making process? Because it's not like it just all of a sudden hit you and then you stalled out. You made a decision at some point.
Yeah, the decision making was, I'm not going to be able to perform like I wanted to on a dirt bike. So therefore, let's get something going and let's go to school.
Got it.
And it was, I'm too sidetracked to do that here, so maybe I should go to school somewhere else. And I got family in Oklahoma. I went to school in Oklahoma.
Got it.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is everything that I've learned in cryogenics has been learned on the job or having the opportunity to somehow be paid to do more research.
God, that story is so crazy for me to hear because there's so many similarities. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do after I broke my back either. I just sat there in the hospital going, all right, I got to sit down, so I got to go to school. Like, I can't walk anymore. And I didn't know, and I went and got a computer degree, and the same thing happened. Like, I got my computer degree, but I didn't still, like, even my first job wasn't what I learned in school.
Right.
It was what I learned at that first day on the job.
I think
with
that's
a computer.
pretty common, especially for someone with such passion. And yourself, you go towards what makes you tick.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, it may not necessarily be what you learned and you have to go do that. It's like what you perceive as what you want to do.
Yeah, and it like qualifies you to be able to do it. So you can go speak the language, right? And you know the theories of all that stuff. And so that just opens that door just enough where you can go, okay, now I can really pour my heart into it. That's what I feel like.
I don't disagree with that because a person like Josh, a person like you, myself, like the passion is what drives the success, right?
Right.
So that would be a key ingredient to the actual path.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can say, well, this is the formula and this is what it works on paper, right? That doesn't motivate you, right? Right?
Especially with all the crap
sure
that he's
you would
working on.
agree. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my trade, it's the same way.
So what was next?
Yeah, so basically what was next was I found myself in New Hampshire, living in New Hampshire, working in New Hampshire and Boston. And
it's a long way from home.
It really is.
a long way from home.
And a different language.
Yeah, it pretty much is, right?
Yeah.
Did you get
Totally
any of the
different language.
accent? Like, did you absorb any?
For the first couple of years, I was told, like, if I do a little bit of drinking with my buddies, like, all of a sudden this East Coast accent kind of comes out, and I was like, I don't know where it came from. I'm a California kid, 100%. But yeah,
That's funny.
Or when you're out there on the East Coast, you're probably talking like normal California dude, and they're like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?"
Yeah. Well, my nickname was California everywhere I went.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, any job, any friends, it was all California. But and the funny thing is in New Hampshire, a lot of people thought California is all flat. We never get snow. New Hampshire gets way more snow than California, and we're all palm trees and beaches. And I was like, wow, you so need to travel. It's so not right.
Yeah, they live in their own little bubble. But that's still cool though that you got to go experience that because it's a totally different world. If you don't mind me asking, what was the degree that you got in college?
Metallurgy.
So that's what you graduated with.
Science and metal. Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think I've learned a lot and forgot more.
Right.
But that's the way it works, I guess. Let's see. So where I went is I had a great job and it wasn't working out well. I decided to kind of spawn off it and go, I'm going to start my own company doing cryogenic stress relieving. And I'm going to call it CryoHeat. And I was in New England. And I was hitting up all the manufacturers that I knew of. And it just wasn't good timing. A lot of companies were rubbing pennies together. A lot of companies were they were trying to figure out how to stay afloat.
Do you remember when this was? What years it was?
I've been back here, I think, for 7 years now.
Oh, okay.
So this was roughly 7 to 8 years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And,
that was right when I don't want to say the recession because that was like 2008-ish, but like right after that when companies were like
It was
scarce.
still pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just starting to come back on the West Coast, and it's kind of like trickling
Yeah, gotcha.
back. It wasn't fired off yet on the East Coast. And so in my every 6-week commute back to San Diego to visit family and friends, one time I decided to make the drive, and I brought one of my processors home, parked it in my friend's garage. Now, mind you, this is somewhere in Santee. And in this garage, in this humble little neighborhood, a big delivery truck shows up with these 230-liter push cart liquid nitrogen dewars.
Whoa.
And like eight of them go into a garage. And immediately, like, the next door neighbors are calling the police. The
What is he cooking
neighbors
in there?
They're building bombs. And the cops show up, and it's like, man, yeah, it was crazy because it actually happened. The cops showed up after I left town, and my friend was going to help me get the dewars out of his garage and help the guy load them back into the truck. So that whole thing shot out, and we weren't able to do that anymore.
That's
And
so
what I was
funny.
trying to do, I was trying to see if I can get my business to grow in San Diego and just jump on the plane back and forth. And it's like, I've been in motorsports all of my life, so I have a little bit of that back door, like, hey, Bob Bell, remember me, Josh LaHaye?
That's crazy.
And it was kind of, some of that stuff. So
I can just picture it, like you got all your neighbors and stuff, and they're like, dude, Breaking Bad's in our neighborhood.
Yeah, totally.
yeah, it was 100% like that. I mean, like, I was expecting, like, if I was there, shaved head, tattoo guy, guns drawn, you know what I mean?
I know, like fully, right?
Yeah, I'll open it up for you. There's no drugs. It's actually metal parts. But, so that didn't go over too well. My next trip, I flew back to San Diego, and it's like, man, I got to figure a place to set this up at, but I gotta get on some of these leads on people who want some of my services. They want to try it out. What is this CryoHeat stuff? And I walked into this place called Black Rhino Performance down the street from Score International.
Yep.
On Bond Avenue in El Cajon. And there's Kenny Osborne. Never met him a day in my life. And it turned out like one or two of the guys that were working for him, they knew of me. Just because East County, we're all friends of somehow or whatever.
Because you try to start Breaking Bad right down the street from them.
Yeah, right? But no, so Kenny says, he goes, no freaking way. You're the CryoHeat guy? We just got out of a meeting talking about you and how we need to get in touch with you.
Holy shit, dude.
Like literally 5 minutes before I showed up.
That's bitching.
And so Kenny and I talked. We got to know each other a little bit. A week later, I showed him some of my equipment, and he's like, you sponsor my son, and I'll give you free rent. And I was like, really?
Dude,
wow.
That's perfect.
And that was
Sold.
like, so CryoHeat literally started in the very back corner where it's like the hottest corner where no one wants to stand. Of course, the cheapest rent of all of Black Rhino, but thank you, Kenny. I started off probably like when it was just my machine, 50 square feet.
Dang, that
and
is
it was
so
my
cool.
machine. When it was my machine, and I flew into town. I rented a car. The car has 3,000 pounds of metal in it. You open up the trunk of a rental car, and I have a diesel block sitting in the freaking trunk. And it's like, I'm just doing business, and my trips were basically completely paid for by keeping the cycle going. And
I can just see it though, like He actually he seems like it's like, okay, well, this is what happened. But like, can you imagine what's going on in his head? Like, because he's like walks out of the Black Rhino meeting or whatever that they said they just were talking about it 5 minutes earlier. He's going, yes, like, and it's got to be like almost like the same, like winning a race, right?
No doubt.
Like,
yeah.
yes, like this is it.
Totally.
Like, I'm ready. Like, this is what like, let's go.
I was living 3,000 miles away.
That's bananas.
So every 4 to 6 weeks, I'd jump on a plane and use my, I had a modified schedule on the East Coast. I basically had to work 40 hours a week. That's fine. I'll work 2 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then bail
I'll
out.
make it happen.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's like, and you guys know a little bit about my processing. Some of this processing takes 80 hours.
Yeah.
So, it's like there's times where I can load up a process, hire a college student to help me unload the process, and, or just get that process done. And it's going to take days for accumulation of more parts for the job that I had. I was hired as a subcontractor, shot my foot a little bit doing that direction, but I look back at it now going, I think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it allowed me to leave the East Coast so much easier.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention the learning curve and the understanding of the stuff that you were doing was probably a little bit better too. Because Casey and I talk about this all the time, is like, you knew what you wanted to do, but now you know what you don't want to do, which is almost more valuable.
It's the learning curve. Oh my gosh. You're talking to somebody who is a scientist. You're talking to somebody who knows exactly what he's doing with all the processing and the micropolishing and all these things. I could do it in my sleep. But how do I change it from I'm doing it for government contracting, aerospace, to now an end user who is a motorsports person? How do I explain it? I hate to say it this way, but how do I make it into easier, dumbed down terms where I can talk street talk and everybody understands what I'm talking about?
You can't, dude. There's been a million conversations that I've had with you that I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll research it because I like it, because I'm into it. But that's why I was saying earlier, like, understanding that it's less friction, more horsepower, like all those things that are simple, like those are the things that I really think are the end result that I think are super cool. But I love learning about the process, man. So I can only imagine how fulfilled you were just getting all of this understanding and starting the new business. Like, it's probably just so gratifying in your mind.
Yeah. Especially when I went from Top Ramen to that one steak dinner with my son every week we'd have steak.
Sweet.
To it's like, all right, kid, I just bought you a new snowboard, and you're gonna learn how to snowboard with your dad.
Yeah.
And that's talking about injuries. I have a lot of hand injuries, and I can't hold on to the handlebars anymore. And so it's like I've had to adapt into, oh my God, I need a hobby. I need something to vent on. And so snowboarding became like, I have to snowboard like 80 days a year to be happy. And for someone in San Diego, that's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it turned into, I don't need a chairlift. I just want to freaking be in the mountains. And if I have to hike for that one snowboard ride, I'll do it. Unfortunately, my almost 16-year-old son is not on that page, but he'll snowboard as much as I will, and it's like, so we were able to slowly turn into, okay, dad's fun again, and I'm able to afford stuff, and business is growing, but I had to be real tight because it's not like I had a side job.
Right.
This was it. And I basically put all of my eggs into one basket, so to speak, and I was like, make these chickens grow.
Yeah, but you did a good job.
Make these racers happy.
Full speed ahead, though.
You're probably picking up on the same thing I am here, is like when you hear Josh talk about problems with his hands or going snowboarding, like clearly he wanted to ride dirt bikes, right? But now he's got to learn how to snowboard. And like, so all of these little things that he's talking about, he might not even realize it, but all of them are changes and adapting to certain things, right? Mm-hmm. And he talks about the 300 different things that he does in the processes that he does with his metal. All of that is linked. It's the same thing.
Right. No doubt.
it's pretty crazy because it's just changing and rethinking all of the stuff that's going on in the process of his human body or the process of the metal.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's that same effort to do it 100.
The drive, yeah.
It's just a little teeny different.
So crazy, man. I think it's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, every once in a while, I look back and go, 3 weeks ago, that was pretty freaking rad.
Yeah, and you're much more appreciative.
Yeah, or even like, I get a customer that comes in and they're lucky enough to have a little bit of the tour, and it's like, well, wait, you can't go over there. And I'm like, well, why not?
No, secret.
And then I'll explain to them, and they're like, well, what else have you cryogenically processed? And then it's like, okay, I got the best story for you. You know, like 7 years ago, I CryoHeat processed a piece of glass. And it was like, what? And it's like, yeah, it was $420,000 and some change piece of glass. And it's now in orbit in a telescope.
Dude,
Isn't that cool?
yes, that is so cool.
And I look back at it and go, that's so, I mean, I didn't make a whole lot of money doing it, but I mean, it's freaking rad. And I couldn't take pictures because I'd love to show you guys. But, you know, since then, like some of the stuff that we've micro polished, and we haven't even really touched micro polishing yet in this conversation, but there are ball joints on satellites in orbit that we've micro polished. And I'm just like, that's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still geek out over that stuff every day. And it's like, how much money did I make on that ball joint? Not a whole lot of money, but it's in orbit, and it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. We see now he's got me thinking like outside the box too, and I'm like thinking like, that's so phenomenal. Like the dirt life is cool, but space life, there we go. Like that's what we need to do. Because how insane would that be? Like, let's just say we asked you, like you went home to your wife and you were like, hey, I just was thinking about maybe polishing something and sending it up to space. What do you think? He did that, dude.
In other words, you're like, I want a piece of that $61 million a day. I want just a teeny little piece of that.
But that is like,
yeah,
and even if he made zero on it, it would be still super cool. Like that's just got to be so fulfilling. And that to me is like going back on what we talked about before, your mentality and you're wanting to win and you want to go out and, you know, race the Baja 1000. These are special wins too, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would have to say coming full circle is hanging out with dudes like you, hanging out with a lot of the girls and the dudes who are watching us, who do race. You know, it's like Kristen Matlock. I'm not trying to put her in her place because she's a girl, but she's a girl that kicks the shit out of most of the guys. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
She's a badass.
And it's awesome. And it's like, she's gifted. She's a freaking phenomenal driver. And her and her husband have an amazing organization. They have a great crew. And they really, I mean, they have decades of knowledge of putting these things together and making it all work textbook perfect.
And work ethic.
Yeah, I did one of the races with them. Unfortunately, I was pushing myself way too hard. And I showed up the entire time. I was totally freaking sick. Like, you have no business being how sick I was in Baja with them. And I wanted to be there and be part of the team. But I was like dead the whole time. And I look back at it going, well, I worked 90 hours that week before, 200 hours within the other 2 weeks. And then I went on a 72-mile backpacking trip in Colorado, fly fishing for a week. And I'm just like, what am I doing now in Baja, totally sick, and I think I'm going to die?
That's cool, though. That says a lot. Like, just the few weeks, just says a lot about your personality.
Yeah, I overdo it all the time.
Yeah, but that's what goes to show, and, like, really is a testament to your success, is you make sure that it happens. So, like, if I'm a client and I say, hey, I need my transmission by this date, I know I'm going to get it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and it's like, and it sucks because I find myself being the yes man, and I say yes too much. But I've noticed also as business is growing, we're hiring more people, and it's allowing me to be the yes man again because now I have a lot more support behind me or to the left and the right of me. where it's like, I'm not the guy doing everything, which 2 years ago, that's pretty much where CryoHeat was for off and on. Like, I'd hire a couple people, they wouldn't work out. Or I hired this amazing guy, and then all of a sudden he goes, Josh, I got some great news and some bad news. I'm all, give me the good news. He's all, I'm in seminary school, and I leave to Texas in, 5 weeks. I'm like, no, good for you. I'm so happy, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect employee. And then I was all of a sudden, it's like me back to like, working 80 hours as usual, and 95 to 100 hours would be like, I'm stressed out because I'm overworked. But it's so hard to find good helpers, because it's an extended part of your family, and it's also, this business is my baby, and I don't want it to go down.
Well, and you like people that work hard too, so that really makes a big difference when you have that solid core group of people. So one thing that I noticed about that is that no matter how Josh looks at it, timing is always one of the most crucial things in life, whether it's business, whether it's like his recovery, or whether it's even going and getting a bite to eat, right? Timing controls everything. So understandably, whether he was working hard or not, timing is what usually will make it a success or not. And it sounds like he just had to push through a little bit of that, timing, to be able to make sure that he was able to get to the point where he is now. And kudos to you for doing that, because that goes back to what you've learned in the past, and just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I 100% stand right behind what you said. It is timing, and I hate it. It's an Eminem song where it's like, you got one chance.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, if you're the typical person, yeah, you have one chance. Or you bust your ass and you make yourself available, and that one chance becomes 4 or 5 or a dozen chances.
Yep,
absolutely.
And if you hit one of them, that's great. And if you're able to hit multiples, it's because you probably deserve it, and you busted your ass for it.
Well, let me ask you this question, because Casey brings this up all the time, is like, racers were, I don't remember how you said it, but as racers were bred to look forward and forget about what just happened in the last corner, right? But it gives us a certain mentality for our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we always understand that there's the next race, the next weekend.
Right.
And so we just keep going forward. So if we hit a speed bump, or in business, or something happens, you get fired, or anything like that.
What's the next thing?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't remember how you said it, but you made a good point about it in a couple shows ago or something.
I think it's the focus. And then also, racers are somewhat, and our families can attest to this, selfish.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, we can self-reflect and say we are, because we're trying to say, what can I do to make it the best way that I can?
Yeah, whether it's for just to reach the end goal, right? So to win a race, which is selfish, or to win a client, or to make sure a project gets done, or a process completes. Like, that all is the mentality, right?
Right. So it's the focus, which it's funny because it's actually anti that, because when you're trying to please a customer, a client, a long-term, turn them into a long-term client, you're trying to please them. So that focus, it's not on you anymore, even though it kind of is, but now it's on, like, I'm going to give them my best product that I can. You still have your name on it.
Yeah, because you were born and bred that.
Yeah,
racing.
It's funny how they kind of go together, which they're like anti each other, right?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That focus is just insane.
Yeah. I do have to admit the selfishness sometimes as a racer. I spent a lot of times doing it, and it was a lot of me time. I look back at my whole racing career. I was single. I didn't have any kids. All the way till I was 30, and now, like, I've had a couple different business adventures, but this one, it's like, you tell your family, as a business owner, you tell your family, yes, dear, I'll be home for dinner.
Yeah.
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 I could just start one more process if I'm here for 10 more minutes. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like
6 hours later.
Hey, I have an opportunity to package this customer stuff up, and I'm not being, selfish towards my customer, but then you got to look at your other part of your life and go, wow, I'm shutting down one part of my life to go hang out with family or friends to selfishly fix this customer and get this package, throw it in my truck, drive 100 miles an hour to FedEx, and drop it off.
It's crazy.
So it goes out tonight.
It's so
You know what I
crazy
mean?
that
In a hard balance, for sure.
yeah, and most people don't see that, right? They just think, "Oh, Josh makes fantastic
Yeah,
products and
made it
does all these
happen.
things."
Right
but
on.
I actually have a funny story about that too. Like, so everybody used to say, like, when I first started racing UTVs, they're like, "Oh, you're a motocrosser, you're going to be good at it, and like you got these things offered to you, right?" But no, like I worked for 5 years, but I was only able to afford half my first UTV, and my sponsors paid for the other half, and I got the opportunity to be with these guys because they saw my drive and stuff. But the details beyond that, like, I was working a full day from 8 to 5 doing sales and customer service and all that stuff for my own business. And then from 5 o'clock on, when I wouldn't get any phone calls, I would work until 2:30 or 3 in the morning doing all the production and all of the programming and all of the software engineering. And then if I could, I would wake up early to get the race car ready for the next race and then go back to it again. Like it was just insane the amount of time that you have to do when you have that amount of drive, right? But Josh is doing the same thing. It's like, I don't know. It's like one of those things, like you just don't want to fail. You just want to keep getting better, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I guess the downer Debbie side of me, or whatever you call it, would be like, your neck's all messed up, your hands don't work, can't race anymore. And then I look at my racing family of the teams that we support. After every desert race, they send us transmissions to rebuild. We open up the transmissions, we Magniflex everything, we check everything, we'll replace seals and bearings because those are cheap. Every 1,000 miles, we'll put another CryoHeat process chain in it if it's one of the naturally aspirated transmissions. Bound it together, ship it out.
Yep.
And it's like, we're part of that team, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
and it's cool because now that I'm not a racer anymore, but in a way, I still get a piece of that, like, glory, like that glory of, oh my gosh, we won Score International again, or Dustin Nelson won another championship.
Yeah.
How many is that now, Dustin, that we've been a part of? You know, and it's just like, or even out of UTV racing, it's like a lot of people don't know, but we're breaking world records with CryoHeat processing.
Yeah, like land speed kind of stuff.
Yeah, we sponsored a production drag race car that was unfortunately hit the wall and it doesn't live anymore. But it's the fastest production import car in the world. It makes 2,000 horsepower. It's a Honda Civic.
Dang.
And they're running like 219 miles an hour in the quarter mile.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy.
No wheelie bar, no wing.
That's
yeah,
freaking bananas.
Straight bananas. And there's CryoHeat process parts all over that little car.
Yeah, see, stuff like that is super, super cool, man. And
Yeah.
just thinking about what you're talking about, like when I think of a scientist, right? Like you think of a general scientist, like, you know, maybe a guy with a button-up T-shirt and glasses or something. And I don't mean to profile. I mean that's a
Nerd pack.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Pocket protector guy, right? Yeah. So
It's a nerd pack.
yeah, and so the same thing was reflected on me when I got out of school, right? Like I need to be this computer nerd guy, right? But if Josh hadn't have gone the route that he did and knew all the motocross stuff, just like me, he wouldn't have had that same fit. Like it doesn't work out. Like I just think it's so cool when it's outside the box. It's like it's just so neat to see that happen.
Well, it's like there's like these holes in the industry that need to get filled with the right person.
Yeah.
And you're the right person for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Thank you. Yeah.
there's so many of those things that maybe they're just not invented yet. You know what I'm saying?
That's such a good way to put it. Like those holes need to be filled.
Totally. And if you think about it, you couldn't, like your background, motocross, your racing, all that, that's invaluable. You can't teach that to stock box out of college, here's your degree. You can't teach that. So but what you can do is you can take that person and mold them with all this other stuff and then make that perfect fit. And
mold them with NASA.
And to me, that's what makes when you find those key people in the industry, why they're so special. That's what I think, because it's not just run of the mill and then sure I'll get into that. That's never the story. It's always the passion, and then something happens to change some things around, and then all this other knowledge goes in and it kind of ignites the fire.
That's such a good way to look at it, man. And Josh probably doesn't see this because he's working 90 hours a week, but
exactly.
From the outside, man, it's pretty impressive. So kudos to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad to see that, dude. Like, you should be definitely proud of yourself for doing all that stuff. Well, we got some questions that we want to ask you, like some rapid fire Q&A questions, but I wanted to know, like, maybe a little bit more. You can kind of give us a little bit more detail, not any secrets or anything, but help us understand what kind of new stuff you guys have coming out.
We'll sign an NDA. Just kidding.
All right. Well, so new stuff.
Well, I know that the Polaris transmissions are a huge deal right now, but I've seen you working on a bunch of different stuff, like engine parts.
Okay, I'm going to bear with me for a second. Actually, I'm trying to figure out which is the best way to do it. Bear with me for a second. I'm going to unplug the phone, get it off this tripod, and then switch it around. And I'm going to show you. I got a scale sitting here. I want to show you what we're doing with. Starting off with the Polaris transmissions. There are some manufacturers that are making some parts for the transmissions, right? I think we know that. There's 2 or 3 other companies that are making some pretty good products. But let's just go into
let's see what you got.
Let's go into more performance than that. And then we'll circle back onto engine performance, but I'm going to show you some transmission stuff. So bear with me for a second.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's pretty cool to understand that there's still new stuff in his head, right? Like, you can understand that there's still – he's not just like, oh, okay, I got a transmission, I got to polish it up, or I got to treat it. He's like, wow, okay, I can do this. It's just – I love that forward-thinking process.
Yeah, here's the next best whatever.
Okay, so you got a scale.
While the scale's warming up for a second,
sweet bike.
We're gonna raffle that off.
Oh, are you? What kind of bike is that? I can't see it all the way.
It is the forks are Harley Davidson. The frame was made from a guy in Canada named Mitch. I got the wheels on eBay. Baseball player didn't like it, so I ended up picking up super inexpensive.
That thing's
the
sweet.
Entire the engine's all cryo heat processed, and we're going to be taking apart this transmission and showing us cryo heat and micro polishing the transmission and putting it back in. Yeah, that's my lead sled that I built in New Hampshire, and I no longer can ride it anymore. So I figured instead of selling it, let's just raffle the thing off. So we're going to be selling a lot of cryo heat clothing and sticker kits, and for every $1 that everybody spends, you get a raffle ticket for this, and probably like January 1st or something like that, we're gonna surprise them.
Yes,
that's cool. I'll definitely enter that raffle. Although I don't know if I'll be able to ride it either, because I think that seat looks a little bit too much for a guy like me.
Yeah. We're the same height, so you might fit well on it. All right, so let's get back down to this. So I got a couple gears here. Here's our. This is if you can.
Look
it's
how
hard
shiny
to see.
that thing is, how polished it is.
Yeah, it's hard to see
like
laser etching.
Almost.
Right.
These are all now laser etched by cryo heat. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
but
if it doesn't come through too good for our audience, you can see some of the laser etching stuff. Josh has you can see it there. Josh has an Instagram page at CryoHeat, CryoHeat. You can see some of the laser etching process on the Instagram page as well.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask Casey. I was going to say, can you imagine having differential parts in RC cars that are that low friction?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, every once in a while we get these fanatics with RC cars, and we'll like the nitro motors and the gasoline little weed whacker motors. We'll cryo heat process the parts. We'll micro polish the parts. They'll send us like 4 or 5 sets of transmission gears, and we'll do all the same to the transmission gears. And then when I give them the bill, they're like, "Are you kidding me? That's it?"
Nice.
Like, yeah.
You got to talk to your buddy Adam Drake.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe he's already on the DL doing it.
He just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a low-speed gear. Let me know. Can you guys read the laser etching on that gear?
I can't. Can you, Casey?
So
it's got a little bit of a reflection with the light.
CryoHeat, black.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sorry.
Got it.
I'm sorry. All these will be available on our website probably in about 2 or 3 days. Mike, who's been working for me for a little over 2 months, he's been like pounding the keyboard as hard as he can to make this stuff happen. But I wanted to show you the difference. Well, I mean, I don't have a stock one out here, but this is a low speed gear out of a Polaris RZR. All right, this is it says CryoHeat on it, and then it shows that it's a low speed gear, 67 tooth, and then there's the part number with the CH. So again, here's the weight of that low speed gear, 1.57 pounds.
So that doesn't
same
seem
low
like
speed
much.
gear.
Okay.
Same low speed gear, but this is our Pro Mod version. Okay, so here's our Pro Mod version. You can see that we've put it on a strict diet, and it's balanced.
Dude, that looks so factory.
It does.
Yeah, it does have the CryoHeat logo on it, and then it has some other laser etching. It'll let you know what the part number is on it and everything.
So for our audience members that aren't able to see this, that are just listening on iTunes, what it does is it has some holes in it, and it's drilled out, and it's obviously machined and stuff. But what's the weight on that one?
Are you kidding me?
Josh?
It's a half pound.
It looked like 0.9. Is that what it was, or what was it?
Yeah, 0.92. And what was the original? 1.57.
1.75, I thought. So it's almost what, half the weight? Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
1.57.
So imagine taking a half a pound off of one gear.
One gear.
Yeah. One gear.
So the people that are listening to this and not looking at it, the gear is about the size of I don't even know what
palm of your hand.
There you go. Yeah. Palm of your hand.
The palm of your hand. And that's half a pound. So can you imagine doing that for the whole transmission?
Exactly. That's
Holy
insanity.
crap.
And that finish is like.
All right, so we don't even think
hold
about
on
the.
a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Most Polaris owners know what these are.
Right, the gears.
Right. If you're down south and on the East Coast, they call them bull gears. Us here on the West Coast, we call them pinion shaft gears.
Mm-hmm.
Here is a CryoHeat micro polished. I'll try to get that just right for you guys.
Yeah, we can see that. That's awesome. It looks so
and
good.
then I'm gonna show you the weight. Scale is at 0. You can see that, right?
Yep.
There's our weight. 5.71
for one shaft. Okay. And so these shafts are about the same size as a banana.
This one's on a diet again.
Yeah. So here is. I don't know if you can read it.
Yeah. So laser etched one.
Says, CryoHeat with our part number. Scales at 0.
Wow. So it's a whole pound and a half lighter.
Yep. That's insane.
Yeah.
That really is insane. And if you're not like familiar with transmission parts or mechanical parts and stuff like that, these things could look very similar, right? Like you just be like, oh, I don't know what that difference is.
Right.
But just the weight savings alone. All right. So Josh can get into the technical stuff and what this does, but I have one comment to make. My dad would love it if I put all these in there because he's lifted the transmission out of my car so many times. If I could save him like 10 pounds, he'd be so pumped on it.
That's crazy.
Eric Hanna also.
With our Pro Mod transmission, now it varies a little bit with what gear ratio you're running, but with the Pro Mod transmission, you're 20% less rotating mass.
Yeah, totally.
Crap, man, are you serious?
Yeah.
And not to mention, all the surfaces are freaking like ice.
Exactly.
All right, so
well, there's your answer, Brandon. Ask him how much he's taken out of the pinion gear.
There you go. Yeah. So Dude, that's insane. So already I know, and again, I wasn't able to work with Josh on a racing level because the Lucas rules wouldn't allow us to. But if I could redo one of those YXZ transmissions and lighten it up, oh my God, that would have saved me so many broken transmissions because all that rotating mass would have stopped twisting those shafts and stuff that we had in there.
Right. Brian wants to know, can we do bicycle chains? I'll bet we can.
Yeah, they can do bicycle chains.
So the Pro Mod transmission has become such a big success with the Polarises that we've turned it into a stage 1 and a stage 2. So a lot of our weekend warriors, the guys that go out to the sand dunes, hey, I broke my transmission, heard amazing things about you guys, I need help. And then they surfed our website and they're like, oh my God, what are these Pro Mod transmissions? And so some of these guys will actually choose the stage 1 because later next year or 2 years down the road when they want to service, then they can penny up and have stage 2 right on top of the stage 1.
Oh.
And so what we do is we'll go through the transmission, replace seals and bearings, mag everything like we do for everything else, and then when we see the notes that he wants a stage 2, we'll stage 2 the rest of the transmission and only charge him accordingly, and now he or she can get into that stage 2 a little bit easier. I mean, with high performance, you see in a lot of labor. It literally takes us about a day and a quarter to machine this, and that's running a 3-axis machine that's programmed. So we're like bowing down on our prices already on machine time and cryo heat time and micro polishing time, and we're just going, all right, God, please give us the numbers that we need to keep the doors open so we can keep this rolling.
Yeah, but that's so good for your customers, though, because you treat them right.
Thank you. At the end of the day, it's really cool to see all the happy stories and people sending us messages of like just random guys. We talked him into a gear change for his naturally aspirated 4-seat car, and his buddy has a 4-seat turbo car, and there's this one sand dune that's super steep, and he's always been smoked by his friend, but now with the gear ratio set right, and he's running a Pro Mod Stage 1, he walked all over the turbo car.
That's bitchin'.
Yeah. So, yeah, back to rotating mass. I mean, if you can get rid of rotating mass or get rid of all that friction, it is like adding a lot of horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super cool. And we talked about the transmission this whole time and gears and stuff, but you can do it to pretty much anything. You have some cranks back there. You can do it to the valve train system. You can do it.
Yeah.
Can you do Brian's road change?
Yeah, I'm sure. So you can do it to.
No, definitely. Your sprockets and your chains for your bikes, dude, send them, and I'm going to show you the world of cryo heat processing to just chains and sprockets. They will last so much longer.
Yeah, less friction too, and like CV joints, like you said. Like there's so many different things, man. It's so cool to see.
Definitely.
So the secret is a little bit out of the bag. I'd say there's maybe 50 to 100 people in the UTV world that knows. We all know the legacy of Cryo cams. They make amazing stuff for like drag racing applications, big V8 stuff.
Yep.
One of the descendants of the Cryo family is Brian Cryo, and BC Parts. And Brian Cryo, myself, and a good friend of mine, Greg, we've gotten together, and we're gonna kick this up a notch, and we will have billet crankshafts available for the Polaris cars.
Sweet.
They are being run right now. We have billet stroker crankshafts. We have our own Inconel exhaust valves. We have cryo heat treated parts all over the place and micro polished parts all over the place. Valve train for Polaris is done except for the cams. We've come with our own profile for our own pistons, and I'm not going to burst the bubble yet, but this is these parts are being made from like the best of the world.
That's so cool,
we're not
man.
We're not going with mediocre stuff. We're going with the best of the very best. And you know, you got an amazing guy like Brian who's going to help push the product and support the product. And then you have an amazing guy like Greg, who is just freaking super engine brainiac, and he's incredible in his own way, and he's so intelligent on what an engine needs to make it run. And then we have, I guess, the mad scientist, myself, who can make the molecular structure of all these parts work a lot better. And then using CryoHeat as it's like, well, you come to the conclusion that so many people know CryoHeat already, why don't we just start selling the parts out of CryoHeat? So we'll be selling them out of CryoHeat. But yeah, very, very soon.
That's
billet
so
crankshaft,
cool.
Stroker billet crankshafts for the Polaris, Can-Am, Honda, eventually Kawasaki. It's gonna be an awesome ride.
So first of all, thank you very much for letting our audience know.
Yeah.
That'll be super cool
Guys
for
are the
everybody.
first to know.
Thanks, dude. Released it on the Dirt Life show. Woohoo! But yeah, well, thank you very much for letting our audience know. But one of the things that I want to say there is that he's being humble about it. But if he didn't get into all the stuff that he's into, there wouldn't be a Josh LaHaye pushing the industry that far.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, It's really, really phenomenal for me to hear that those things are coming down the pipe. Like, when all three of us sitting on this conversation, we can think, oh, my God, I love the factory KTMs. I love the factory Hondas. Like, Ken Roczen has way cooler parts. I wonder what's inside their transmissions. I know it's titanium parts. I know it's a 3-speed. I know it's, you know, drilled out. I know all these crazy things. But he's doing it for us.
Yep.
That's just so sweet, man. So we can have the Ken Roczen transmission.
Yeah.
Josh just has to hook us up.
Yeah.
Dude, but that, like, my point is that it doesn't happen unless you have somebody forward thinking like him.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I just think that's so cool, man.
Polishing up the mousetrap. It's not like reinventing it. It's just better because it's refined, right? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, but we're talking about refining it to like the end.
Oh no, absolutely. That's why it takes somebody with such a drive to do it.
But back to what you're saying, we have built so many engines here in stock configuration, maybe 0.5 higher on compression ratio, just to wake up the engine a little bit. But everything's cryo heat treated, micro polished, stock parts, except for the pistons. And those motors, the engines, they come to life. They really do, and they'll last a whole lot longer. And it's really cool to see. Even as easy as it sounds, but for us, it's like we treat everybody with the greatest of like you're a racer. Even if you're racing from your trailer to the campfire to the sand drags and back to the campfire with your family, you're a racer, because we all know that UTVs are made for one thing: going fast and having crap loads of fun.
Yep, for
and
sure.
And if I bring that much more happiness to somebody, or this much more success of the transmission didn't break, you know, it makes me really happy, and I love hearing the happy stories, and I love being a part of the industry, like you guys are saying, and I gotta say, like, I never really thought of it like that. And then while you guys are talking, I'm like, God, who does what I do in this industry?
Nobody. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think I might be the only one.
That's cool, though. You got to give yourself a pat on the back for that one. All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for doing what you do in the industry, because I still think it's phenomenal. And I couldn't even tell you how many times and how much research. I've probably done at least 200 to 250 hours of research into trying to understand the metal treatment process because of the one conversation that you and I had for probably 5 minutes back in 2016. So thank you for making me smarter as well.
You're welcome.
But let's, well, first of all, they can get a hold of you. Do you have a personal Instagram as well?
No, I just have Instagram CryoHeat.
Okay.
We've been really strict and kind of kind of crazy about the hashtag CryoHeat. So if you hashtag CryoHeat, you look it up, man. If you want to see real life stories of people that we cannot influence, when you hashtag the word CryoHeat, there's a million stories there, and it's so cool to just thumb through them sometimes. But yeah, CryoHeat on Instagram, CryoHeat on Facebook. I think I'm getting closer to that. What's the cap for Facebook for private individuals?
Oh yeah, it's 5,000. It's
5,000.
I hate
Yeah,
that, man.
I got a ways to go, but I mean, if I see that you are a motorsports person and you're a guru of UTVs, dirt bikes, or something like that, and we don't even know each other, man, I have no problem inviting you into my little tiny bubble world, and it's cool because, I mean, it's like, I don't know, we just have a lot of friends that we may never meet or only have met once, but there's so many things in common.
Yep.
And maybe that chance when I go down to Mississippi, I'll be able to have lunch and hang out with a bunch of rowdy mud people. You know,
that's
what I mean?
so cool
I
that you
can't
said
wait
that,
for
because it's exactly why we have the Dirt Life. Yeah. So, and Josh didn't spell it out, but it's at CryoHeat. So you got to check it out, because there's some really cool stuff, and especially on his Instagram too. He's able to post stories and videos and stuff like that where he gives you guys, he can take you through some of the processes. He shows you some of the cool treated metal pieces, and he even shows like an internal skeleton of a Polaris transmitter. There's all kinds of cool stuff, man. And if you're anybody like Casey or myself that's super technical and just loves that, you know, geeking out on that kind of stuff, you probably spend a couple hours on his Instagram page checking it out. So, and
picking up one of these shirts with this sweet logo, right?
Yeah, because you can get a raffle to win that bike, man.
That's right.
I'm definitely going to do it.
No doubt.
What's the website? CryoHeat.com?
Yeah, CryoHeat.com.
Okay, yeah, so CryoHeat.com.
Yeah, we
oh, you got white shirts too?
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Strongest, fastest metal. That's
Can
awesome.
you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. Which way am I going? There we go.
Strongest, fastest metals. That looks cool, man.
Look at the tank. I love it.
So we're gonna do the same logo in black, and then we're gonna have black tank tops coming out soon too.
Nice. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So it's nice that you already told us what your future holds and how people can get a hold of you. So if you don't mind, let's do a rapid fire Q&A real quick, bud.
Go for it.
All right. So I'll start off. iRacing or real racing?
Wait, say it again.
iRacing or real racing?
Oh, real racing.
Yeah, because you can't cryoheat a computer. Right?
Yeah, he can't. Well, maybe
he'd probably figure it out.
There's probably some parts in there.
There are zero consequences with video games.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't understand it.
Agreed. Barsha or Webb? If you're following Supercross.
Oh, dude, he is.
Of course. Okay.
Oh man.
As George always likes to say, these are profiling questions for sure.
Well, Barsha or Webb, I mean, how could you get any different, dude? I kind of felt like he was just...
I would say Webb.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking he was gonna say Webb right off the bat, because he likes the Brainiac Webb. You know what I mean? Like the race pro craft and all that stuff.
He's
like,
so smart with that. Yep.
Totally. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Dang, that's a good one. I actually feel like some sushi.
This is a good one. Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
Yeah, Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
I'd pass.
You don't do either of them? You just do sushi?
No.
I had pizza.
I don't even know what a Little Smoky is.
Oh,
it's
man.
the little wieners, dude.
In the little can.
I live in Lucadia, bro. I mean, like.
Hey, you were in New Hampshire. You're good.
I was with stomach problems.
I had
Okay.
I had pizza rolls last night, so I'm gonna err on the pizza rolls today. Favorite soda?
My favorite soda?
Yep.
Old school Coca-Cola.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's a good one.
It is. And he's in San Diego, so I think we know this one.
Okay.
Uggs or Crocs?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Uggs or Crocs?
Oh, wow, Uggs.
You're going Uggs? I thought he was gonna pick Crocs.
No,
You thought he was gonna go Uggs?
Really?
Yeah, definitely. That's a San Diego thing for
I'm
sure.
just joking.
Okay,
I was
good.
thinking the New England thing, but that's Uggs too, right? Yeah, we had Harry chimed in, said lobster, so he's playing along with us. All right, you can answer the same questions too. Most memorable race, and this might be something that was like your Kristen Matlock story. It might be somebody else, but most memorable race, maybe dirt bike for you, or I don't know.
My most memorable race. Wow, this is a good one. Expert Days racing on the Sea-Doo HX. And I had the outside, so on jet ski racing, there's 2 rubber bands. There's a pole, and there's rubber bands, like surgical rubber bands, and they snap back.
Yep.
And I'm on the far outside left-hand side, which is the inside of into the first turn.
Right, but your gate
The
drops
rubber-
last. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Well, I broke fingers about a month prior, so I put the Acerbis, the gnarly Acerbis bar busters on, right? The rubber band caught it.
Oh, no.
Looped around it.
No way.
And I'm gone. I'm freaking 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden my bar is going, whoa, and it snapped back. And somewhere
Holy smokes.
there's a possibility we still have the photos, but there's photos taken from the beach, and you can see me stretching the rubber band to the point where it's like the pole almost fell over into the water.
Dude, could you imagine
Yeah.
you were standing right by the pole or the rubber band, like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Or if-
Josh is
It
like
would take
whining
your
this.
eye out.
Or if it hit you.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I have to say, like, I really thought I was going to come off the ski. I thought I was going to lose the race. I didn't know what was going on.
Did it break?
It was whole shot into the 3rd buoy. So we usually have, multiple buoys making that corner. Into the 3rd buoy. Now I have the whole shot and led the whole race. That was like...
Nice.
That's awesome. Did the
was
rubber
sick.
band
Yeah,
break? Or what?
No, it didn't break.
It just let
It
loose?
did not break. Yeah. They have like a little loop.
Right.
And the loop must, like the material of the loop, I think just kind of wedged into the end of my handlebar where the Acerbis part makes the turn. And I think it kind of just like got caught in there until it stretched until it was like, something's gonna give.
Dude, what if you were like not Josh, but like standing there, like one of the guys that does the whole shot or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, he's stretching this thing out, like he's gonna, this thing is gonna, like this thing's gonna come back and rebound.
Or what if it pulled him into just circles? That
would have been crazy.
So many things could happen.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so favorite flavor of ice cream?
Pralines and cream.
Ooh, I like it.
That's good.
Did we just become best friends?
Robbins.
We just became best friends.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, so ski or snowboard? We think we know the answer to this one.
I would say snowboard, but I'm not going to give up my 2 planks.
So are you saying snowboard because your son does it with you?
So
he's a snowboarder though, isn't he?
He is, and I'm breaking my own rules by snowboarding in sections that are like the consequences are too high. But I'm finding myself in waist deep powder that are untouched, and snowboarding on powder like that is way more like surfing, and something that I miss doing. I don't surf anymore because of my neck injury. Laying in the prone position, it hurts so bad I don't paddle out anymore.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, so snowboarding gives you that.
Yeah, dude, just the snowboarding aspect of it is just so off the hook. For me, it's amazing. But don't get me wrong, like maybe 4 or 5 times a year, I'd love to put the 2 planks on and just hit the moguls.
Yeah.
Until the knees hurt, and then I'm done. I'll go back to snowboarding.
Before you ask your next question, Case, so we got a comment from Harry Vatlin that says, Josh is the best lobster catcher from after midnight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
What's the next one?
Dogs or cats?
Say it again.
Dogs. Well, okay,
dogs?
hold on a second. Typically, I'd say a dog. I love pit bulls if they're good tame dogs.
Yeah.
However, I've always wanted that 40 or 50 pound smaller jungle cat.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Shop cat.
I know what he's talking about.
Josh
Those big,
Josh the Tiger King.
yeah,
I
the
didn't
big
know.
ones.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'd grow the mullet and everything. I'd be rocking the skullet. It'd be
Skullet.
more like a skullet.
Yep.
Hey, 2020, it wouldn't even be weird, dude. It would be like totally normal.
I know the feeling.
Hey.
All right, next one. Netflix or YouTube?
God, YouTube is getting really good lately.
Dude, it honestly is.
It really, really is. And when Netflix is on spot with a good show, until you get to the last season. So if it's Netflix, if my answer is Netflix, don't watch the last season. A Game of Thrones,
with the
right?
caveat.
Yeah, but dude, honestly, I'm gonna say that YouTube is gonna take the cake on that one now.
Yeah. I feel like YouTube is like way easier for my ADD, like because you can just switch around, like 2
that's
minutes,
true.
like you can just like Netflix, you got to pay attention for too long, and I get like sidetracked way too easy.
I took a small family vacation. I was gone this weekend. Sorry, it was a little bit hard for us to get a hold of each other.
Yeah, no worries.
And on the way back, I YouTubed probably 3 hours worth of stand-up comedy, starting with Eddie Murphy. And I was like, tell my son, you need to learn who Eddie Murphy is. And so watch an hour and 45 minutes of Eddie Murphy.
That's funny.
All right, what's the next one?
Burrito or taco?
Taco.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has to be fish taco. Fish taco.
Are you going lobster tacos after midnight?
Lobster tacos are good too. Thanks, Harry.
All right, next one. Supercross or motocross?
Wow, man, you guys are busting my balls on these because it's like, really?
Yeah, I have to choose. Darn it.
I don't know. Casey and I had this like discussion too, and then like one time we picked motocross, next time we picked supercross.
Yeah.
I think it's just flavor of the week kind of shit.
Yep.
If it was watching videos that are older than 10 years, supercross. But if it's now, motocross.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, those guys in motocross, like we were just talking about it because the motocross season is going to start soon. Like, if you ever can see not a televised race, if you can go to a motocross track
so
and
much
see
different.
those pros live, it is freaking mind-blowing how fast those dudes are going. Like, I don't think most people on planet Earth can process information in their brains that quick. Like, these guys are gifted just because of their brain, not because their body. Like, it's freaking phenomenal.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
What's the next one? Is it my turn or your turn?
Yeah, it's yours.
Oh, yeah. What other form of racing would you like to try? And this can be anything. Like you said, jet skis. You could be F1. It could be monster trucks, boat racing, anything.
Red Bull Air Races.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I saw those in San Diego one year.
It's a good
like
one.
I think 2008-ish. Dude, they were.
Yeah.
But check it out. I still think my favorite part of that whole thing, like the pilots are phenomenal, right? But they have helicopters that can do flips and tricks now.
Oh, totally. That's rad.
Dude,
But
they
it's
were
not
sweet.
racing. That's freestyle of helicopters.
Yep.
Dude, but those guys are freaking nuts, man.
It is. It's insane that they can do now what the RC guys used to be doing.
In real life.
Oh, no, that's not possible in real life.
Well, I
and
don't
they're
see
doing
any
it.
full-size
Yeah.
helicopters doing TikToks or anything like that. But
Well, correct. Correct.
Yeah.
But at least that far, that's. But how long
Yeah.
ago would people have said the same thing about stalling up a full-size plane and doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
that's pretty insane.
Dude,
Pretty
how
insane.
yeah.
do they have like anything where you can be a passenger in those? You know, like you do. You can be a passenger in a F-16. Like, do they have anything where you can be a passenger in a Red Bull Air Race plane?
They do. Yeah.
I don't think most people like could handle it. Do you?
No.
They'd probably just lose their lunch.
I'm sure.
No, I would say most people 1 or 2 turns later they'd be passed out.
Yeah.
Do you
doubt.
think like with all the injuries that we've had as all the people sitting here on
collective.
this conversation, do you think that we could handle that? Like our bodies would handle it? Because I would love to do it. I'm trying to
No.
convince myself that I could do it.
Right.
No, we would have to race the handicap course.
Like, the slow guys, like all like,
Yeah.
but he's
Nice.
going like a quarter of the speed. We're like, oh my god!
Nice.
All right, what's the last one?
All right. Finisher up here. Chips and guacamole or fries and ketchup?
Oh, dude, chips and guacamole for days.
Yeah, all day,
Yeah.
all
I
day.
love it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, man. And I know you already had your 90-hour work week. You probably even worked right when you got home yesterday.
He's still working.
But yeah, and he's waiting for this process to finish, so he had some time to chill with us.
Exactly.
But I really do appreciate you coming on, man. It's just so cool to see that you're pushing the industry and you're one of a kind, man. You really need to give yourself a pat on the back when you get home on these tired days and really understand how awesome a person you are and what you're doing for the industry.
That's the perfect
Well, thank you
comment.
very much, you guys. And I have to say, and in return, likewise, what you guys are doing. Now, unfortunately, I don't get to see much live, but I have gone back and watched some of your episodes illegally driving. I'll listen to it. I won't watch it. But what you guys have going on, too, is really, really cool. And I hope huge success for you guys. Because I think it's just going to help everybody out. And yeah, I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it, and I think it speaks. And I hope this ride continues for a long time, and I hope I can keep on growing and finding the right people to work for my company, and just to keep on turning heads and making better and better equipment for everybody else.
Yeah, and your brain's never going to stop, so I think that's definitely a true statement. It's going to keep getting better and better.
Hope not.
Well, thank you very much, Josh. You got anything left for him, Case?
Yeah, I love this comment that just came in. CryoHeat Instagram is like Interstellar. This page is going to cost me like 20 minutes.
It really is, dude. That's what I was saying.
That's perfect. Thanks, Brian.
So, yeah, thanks, Brian. We really appreciate it. Make sure you leave some comments for Josh on there and let him know that you were watching the show, too. Well, thank you very much, Josh LaHaye. We really appreciate you coming on, dude. Obviously, we wish you all the success in the world with your company, and keep pushing the industry and keep pushing your brain, dude.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, bud. Well, have a really good rest of your week. Don't work too hard, and then next time we come, we'll get some tacos.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right,
see
buddy.
you guys.
We'll see you later. Thanks,
ya.
Josh.
Bye.
Man, that was super cool. I really, really enjoyed that conversation. I love being able to talk with people that are just, well, first of all, he's smart as shit, but that are passionate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're so passionate. Like, that drive is literally driving a portion of the industry.
Right. Yep. I always say it too. Like, I don't care if you're like the best chess player in the world. It's still
Chess.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
it like, no, I mean like it does something to my mind.
Oh,
like,
I see what you're saying.
a huge
Yeah.
respect. Like,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it doesn't seem like something, but like it's fascinating to me.
It really, really is.
So with that said, some people wouldn't, oh yeah, it's metal stuff. No, it is like the best metal stuff.
right.
Like, so much respect for anybody that's on the cutting edge of anything they do.
Not that it can be related to tacos, but have you ever had the best taco?
I
and
have.
you always want to go back and get the best taco?
Yep.
I can assume that if you have
Yep.
one of his Pro Mod transmissions, that
Oh
you're
my
never going to
gosh.
want to go back to not a Pro Mod
A
transmission.
half a pound in one gear?
So he said 20%, dude. That's like a lot.
That is insanity.
Could you imagine doing that for an automobile industry? Like,
know,
what if
right?
every single new Chevy Silverado had that
my
in there? You
gosh.
know what I mean? Like, that would just be so crazy. But that's why Josh is on the forefront of what he's doing, is
Yep.
because those OEMs aren't doing that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's super cool, man. I enjoyed that conversation more than Josh will ever know, just because of the intellect that it had. I love hearing that stuff, and I'm not lying at all about me spending a million hours trying to research that stuff, because
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
Yep. Stimulating. For
It
sure.
really, well, like
Yep.
Brian, getting stimulated on
Yeah.
Instagram, right?
Yeah. He's fallen into the loop.
So next week we have our featured guest is actually someone that Josh knows very well. Her name is Katie Vernola. She's a side-by-side racer. She now races a Pro Light in the Lucas Off-Road Series, and she's a model as well. So it'll be nice to talk to her about some of the stuff that she did. We got to really respect her story, because she was a model, and she used all of her income as a model to become a racer, because she had
Wow.
passion to be a racer.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
it's pretty cool. So we can't wait to talk with Katie next week. It's going to be a really, really fun conversation. We're going to talk to some people about their preparation for the Silver State 300, have a little bit of fun with that, and if Casey goes riding again, we're going to talk about that too. But we want to thank all of you guys for listening. You guys, like I said, and like I say every show, you guys are our lifeblood. We really, really appreciate it. We're just a small growing show, and we really want to make a big impact. So the more you guys share the stories about us, the more you guys share us on social media and have a good time with us, you're more than welcome to send us questions. We can talk about them on future shows as well, if we can get some good content rolling in from you guys. So it's just, we want as much interaction as possible. So please don't hesitate to talk with us anytime. And we really appreciate all your guys' comments. It was fantastic. fantastic talking to Josh tonight. Excuse me. We want to thank all of our sponsors. Shock Therapy has been there this whole time. Go get one of these cool hats, man. Shocktherapist.com. Use the code DIRTLIFE. You can save a whole bunch of money. Give those guys
super cool.
Yeah, super, super cool guys. And thank you very much to the guys at Solderweld. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at Solderweld. Go buy yourself an off-road repair kit. Put it in your side-by-side because, once again, they're on the forefront of things just like Josh is. Thank you to the guys at Rugged Radios. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at ruggedradios.com. Save a bunch of money. I think Casey and I are both going to do that. Thank you to Ryan over at KMC Wheels, and thank you to last week's guest, Travis Zollinger of Zollinger Racing Products, for always supporting us. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at ZollingerRacingProducts.com and save a whole bunch of money there on all your aftermarket parts for your side-by-side or your snowmobile. So thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. You have anything else for our audience, Case?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to say thank you to all my friends and people that aren't my friends but are now my friends that have reached out in this tough time losing my pops, and we thank you for the family. Thanks you for all your thoughts and prayers, and
I know you've been getting a lot of love.
Yeah, it really means a lot. To take a second out of your day to make somebody's day, it really means something. So
yeah, it really does.
So thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate it.
And everybody's been doing it to your whole family too.
Yep.
So it's really meaningful.
Yep.
So we really appreciate that, and hopefully maybe by next week's show we have a little commemoration for your dad too. So it's nice to know that people are still caring and loving, and especially in 2020. So
I know,
that's
stupid
awesome.
2020.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for listening. We really appreciate it, and thank you, Case, for coming in. It was awesome. It was awesome sharing tacos. So, all right.
Definitely. Thank you.
We will see you guys next week with Katie Vernola. We love you guys. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.